7 straight in this rivalry. They haven't met in 7 years. Brian Kelly's final word to his team a moment ago.
This is a rivalry game. They will bring it for 4 quarters. We're bringing it for every play. 1 play at a time, 6 seconds, reload, go to the next, play championship level football. It's time, man. You had your warm-up games, that's over. Let's now show up everybody who this football team is. Let's get ready to play.
That matches the tone that Brian Kelly set for his team throughout a physical week of practice as the Irish try to get win 3 of the season. They have won 25 in a row in this stadium. They're playing in front of the biggest crowd they've seen in Notre Dame Stadium in 2 years. And here come the Irish. Kelly goes for win 105. That would tie Newt Rockne for first on the all-time Notre Dame list. Jack Cohn, starting at quarterback, the Wisconsin transfer, beat Purdue twice during his days as a Badger. Couple-hour drive northeast from West Lafayette. It's a beautiful drive across America's heartland. The undefeated Purdue Boilermakers return to Notre Dame Stadium for the first time since 2012. Wins over Oregon State and at Connecticut last week. Jeff Brom, year 5 on the job. His first game as a coach in this stadium. This is Drew Brees' second game as an announcer in this stadium. He also played 2 games wearing Purdue's colors. You've lived this rivalry. Tell me, what's it like, man?
I played in a lot of rivalries in my football career, but none quite matched up to the Purdue-Notre Dame rivalry. It was certainly one of my favorite. Whether it's the history, mystique of Notre Dame football, or the fact that I was recruited to a place that was just 2 hours down the road, this is one of the best in-state rivalries in college football.
And we look forward to it. Let's talk about what we're going to see on the field. Very good receiver, David Bell for Purdue. He is going to be a challenge for Notre Dame, and the Irish have given up big plays. What do you look for from the Irish defense today?
He is Purdue's big play receiver, and the Irish are going to have a plan for him, whether it's doubling him, bracketing him, safety over the top. They're going to have to take him away. But more importantly, I think their advantage lies up front with their defensive line, the speed and athleticism for Notre Dame against the Purdue front.
Purdue has a guy up front on defense named George Karlaftis. Maybe as good a pass rusher as the Irish see all year. And Notre Dame starting its 3rd different left tackle. What do you expect for the Irish to try to slow him down?
Well, there's not many guys in college football that you say you have to have a plan for this guy on every play, but George Karlaftis is one of those guys. Run game, expect Notre Dame to run away from him. Pass game, expect them to turn 2 offensive line towards him or chip him with a tight end, chip him with the running back. But he's a guy who can wreck this game for Notre Dame.
That's one problem for the Irish starting quarterback, who had another problem at the end of the last game. For more on that, here's Catherine Tappan.
Yeah, Mike, it was quite a close call for Irish quarterback Jack Cohn, who narrowly escaped what could have been a game-changing injury in that game against Toledo, with the Irish trailing by 5 late in the game, just over a minute to play. Cohn dislocated a joint in the middle finger of his right throwing hand after hitting an opposing player's helmet. Well, he gets up, no big deal, right? Just races over to the sideline where Notre Dame Associate Athletic Trainer Mike Green popped that finger right back in. He raced back onto the field, and on the very next play, he threw the game-winning touchdown, 18 yards to Michael Mayer, sealing a 32-29 win over Toledo. Now, Cohn had minimum swelling on that right middle finger after the game. It was not taped all week at practice. He did receive treatment for pain and inflammation throughout the week, but he maintained excellent grip strength, and we will see Jack Cohn make the start here today. We'll also see true freshman Tyler Buckner, who made his collegiate debut last week. We'll see him today as well. Mike?
All right, Catherine, what a day it is, too. It's in the low 80s, and it's sunny, and Tyler Buckner and the Irish offense will have to show a little bit more than they did in the game against Toledo last week. Purdue comes in, as we said, confident and aggressive on both sides of the ball. Going to be a terrific matchup. They've asked the fans to wear green here in South Bend, and many have, as a great in-state Midwest football rivalry is renewed one more time. It's Notre Dame and Purdue for the 87th time. And we are glad you're with us here in South Bend. Let's go. is the kickoff man for the Boilermakers. Chris Tyree is back deep for the Irish, and we are underway in South Bend. And Tyree's going to let that go, and the Irish will take over at their own 25-yard line. Time to check the starting lineups. They are brought to you by Hyundai. And for the Notre Dame offense with Jack Cohn, it's Kyron Williams. 34 carries, only 120 yards in his first 2 games this year. We mentioned up front some issues. This is the 3rd starting left tackle in as many games. So I guess you could say it's Tosh 3.0. Tosh Baker starts. You also might see some rotation in there at the guard positions. There is Baker from Arizona. Got a lot of size. He'll put on some bulk over time. But we'll see how he handles the power rush of Purdue. Opening drive to start from the 25. And it's empty right away for Cohn with pressure at the middle. He is sacked for a loss of 10 yards. Jalen Alexander from his weak linebacker position, the top tackler on this defense, gets it going for the Boilermakers.
This is one that you have to feel as a quarterback. Jack Cohn, they're running what we call a middle dog cross. One of these linebackers is going to come free. That's the guy that you have to make miss.
Let's try to go quick after the loss of 11, and we have a flag down. ACC officials working this game as per usual in South Bend.
Full start. Offense. Number 21. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
As I started to say, Big Ten officials, I was talking to Jerry earlier on the field. They worked the Illinois-Virginia game last week as he had Big Ten against ACC. ACC officials normally work Notre Dame games here at home. So the Irish in a big hole early, 2nd and 24. And they will run it on the inside. It's a good run for Kyron Williams. Get him back to the 17-yard line. Drew, when we left the stadium, you thought Jack Cohn might have issues with that finger that Catherine talked about after having it pop back in place last week.
I did. I thought with the swelling and maybe his inability to throw during the week, he'd have a hard time coming out here. You know, it's your middle finger. It's really your power finger when you grip and throw the ball, but he seemed to have no problem.
Problem here was the rush on 1st down. It's 3rd and long. It's an underneath pass, incomplete, as he threw it behind Williams, so the Irish will go 3 and out on this opening drive. It's a Purdue defense brimming with confidence, giving him 21 in the opener at Oregon State and nothing in East Hartford to Connecticut last week. Jay Bramlett will kick for Notre Dame. TJ Sheffield, the sophomore, back deep for the Boilermakers. Good kick into the sun, 42 yards, and from the 41 it's Sheffield. Trying to get to the outside, and a nice return to right around midfield. Kyle Hamilton, the star safety for the Irish, was in coverage. But great starting field position for the Purdue offense. We mentioned David Bell, the star receiver, hoping for a breakout game, trying to get some All-America attention. Payne Durham, their tight end, equally as good. Up front, Greg Long, he's graded out the best in the first 2 weeks. The interior of the Purdue offense to be tested as they will try to give time for the quarterback to get it to David Bell. The quarterback is Jack Plummer. He's not related to Jake Plummer, even though he's from the state of Arizona. Jack will take over from midfield. And on 1st down, quick, deflected by Hamilton, and almost a pick 6 going back the other way. And it's incomplete. Dangerous throw in the flat.
You see that throw to the far field from that far hash is about a 35-yard throw just to throw a hitch route. The ball's in the air a long time. Kyle Hamilton, a great athlete, anticipates it, able to get a hand on it there. Lucky that didn't get picked off.
As they have under Jeff Grom, their head coach, Purdue throws it a lot. Irish bring pressure. It's a handoff to the running back, King Doru. That's a story because Xander Horvath, the regular running back for Purdue, is out with an injury. Notre Dame up front, Isaiah Foskey has 3 sacks in the first couple of games. J.D. Bertrand is leading the team, 11 tackles each of the first 2 games. We saw Hamilton Coverage on special teams, deflection on the first play. May match up in these key spots like third down against that tight end we mentioned, 87 for the Boilermakers, Parker Durham.
Third down, David Bell is down here to the boundary. Let's see what the Irish try to do to take him away.
It's an underneath throw. It is Bell. They rally to him, and after the first hit by Bertrand, he is stopped. But enough for the first down for Bell at the 36-yard line.
There's a safety over the top, so as a corner, you have to be more aggressive. Take away the inside. They just invite him to run the slant. That's an easy third down conversion for the Boilermaker offense.
First down of the game from the 36. It is Plummer. That slant underneath. Big hit coming off the line of scrimmage by Jason Adamilola will limit the game on first down. What do you make of Plummer, the quarterback from Gilbert, Arizona, junior?
I've been impressed with the way that he's developed here over the last couple of years. He had 6 starts back in 2019, 2 last year. He's continued to get better and better. He's really started off the year strong.
Completing 3 out of every 4 passes in the first couple of games. Run with Doru, and he is met right away. J.D. Bertrand admiring Tagovailoa Amosa for the Irish, shutting down the run game. It'll bring up third down.
Listen, Purdue is a passing team, but they understand they're going to have to be able to run the ball somewhat efficiently to put themselves into these third manageable situations. Where they're going to get in trouble from a pass protection perspective is this: if they're in third and longs, because I don't think they can hold up front in third and long situations. But these situations, these are manageable. David Bell here, Payne Durham as well.
The 2 top receivers side by side. They'll swing it out to Doru. Can he get there? Yeah. Foot in the ground and a first down near the 20-yard line. So a good catch and run by the junior from Amarillo, Texas. And Purdue on the edge of the red zone.
Jack Plummer does a nice job. Fairly simple read. He gets it out of his hand quickly into the running back's hand, who is able to front up on the defender, cut back inside, and get the first down. Again, these 3rd and 5 situations, there's a lot of plays you can call, get into the hands of your playmakers. Even if it's short of the sticks, they have an opportunity to run and get the first down.
Purdue has maintained the lead through most of their first 2 games. It is Plummer trying to get it to Bell off his hands. It was tough to catch. Might not have done much. Clarence Lewis had the heavy hit from his quarterback position. And Bell wants to come out here for a moment. You mentioned Plummer, 2-0 this year after 2-7. As a starter his first couple of years, a relief role, starting the final 3 of last year's abbreviated season. Pressure coming, 2nd and 10, in the middle for the tight end, incomplete. Payne Durham was blanketed, Drew White carrying him all the way to the goal line. Here comes third down and 10.
Payne Durham is another one of those playmaking offensive players for Purdue. Should be a good matchup for them, especially if they're going to start to roll over the top of David Bell, really give him a lot of attention. That could open up opportunities for tight end Payne Durham.
After one play out, Bell is back in. He's at the bottom of your screen for 3rd and 10. Thank you, Drew.
You got safety over the top. They throw a screen to him.
And he cannot get through the traffic. Only a gain of about 3 yards. Irish rally to the ball. Bertrand, who has been around it all the time in these first 2 games for the Irish. It'll make a field goal attempt after a 9-play drive for the Boilermakers. See the numbers from Mitchell Fitteran. He's a grad student, was a kicker at Samford, the top kicker in the Southern Conference last year. Wind not a factor, 34-yard attempt. Operation is good, so is the kick. First points for the Boilermakers. 3-0 Purdue. 5 minutes in opening quarter here in South Bend.
Nerds.
This year, well,
A sub above.
Notre Dame football is brought to you by NerdWallet. Turn to the nerds. And by Jersey Mike's Subs, be a sub above. Known as the world's largest drum, built in 1921, 10 feet high, that's why I couldn't fit through the visitor's tunnel, 565 pounds. Every halftime since 1979, the Purdue drum has been in action. It will not be part of the halftime show. It's out there being banged in the parking lot. The rivalry game. Why not? The rules are the tunnel's too small, only football personnel there coming through halftime, so Notre Dame said can't come through the home tunnel. Apparently all big percussion instruments for road teams don't make the trip here to South Bend because of those restrictions. All new to me.
I thought the rivalry applied to the band directors as well.
Yeah, they're all in on it. This is a guy who in any game fits. George Karlaftis, Drew told you about it. Brian Kelly said best pass rusher the Irish will face all year. Jalen Graham, number 6, he may match up with Michael Mayer today. That'll be interesting to watch against the Irish tight end. Jamari Brown's a transfer out of Kentucky, and he's starting because Corey Trice, the starting corner, was injured this week. All right, so an announcement made about a change in jersey. They said 76 is wearing 45. That's Joe Alt for Notre Dame, a freshman tackle. Good one inside by Williams, and maybe a face mask coming in by Cam Allen as that flag came in from the back.
Yep.
See if they add to the gain of 5.
Personal
Take a
foul.
look at this.
Face mask. Defense, number 6. 15-yard penalty they added to the end of the run and includes an automatic first down.
It was Jalen Graham who was called. Allen makes the tackle.
It's one of the things Kyron Williams can do. He can make you miss in the hole. Jalen Graham, one of the better athletes on this Purdue defense.
We'll get into it as the game goes on. Purdue has made a switch at coordinator, multiple coordinators trying to be more aggressive. Cohn, first down, slant off the hands of Kevin Austin. And incomplete, trying to connect with the senior from Florida.
Let's take a look at Tosh Baker here on the left side of the line. Going up against George Karlaftis. Hey, there's that double team we've been talking about. They're going to keep the tight end in, make sure that George Karlaftis does not wreck their day in the passing game.
And there it was 2 tight ends. You saw 45. That's Alt, who's normally a tackle, seeing his first action for the Irish, but wearing an eligible number in 45. Cohn's pass is complete. Avery Davis across midfield into Purdue territory. As 3rd and 5 now coming up.
Another good job by Tosh Baker here on the left side. This time he's one-on-one. Jack Cohn has that clock in his head. It's sped up this week. He's got to make sure he's getting the ball out on time.
Baker 6'8", 307. As we said, 3rd different starting left tackle in as many weeks. Pressure coming. Cohn hit from behind. Is it a fumble or an incomplete pass? That's good awareness by the Irish to get on it. There is a flag down. Dedrick Mackey came around from the back and knocked it out.
The ruling on the field was a fumble recovered by the offense.
And now they'll adjudicate the flag. Take a peek here.
Here we go. Corner blitz here off the nub side. Gets to Jack Cohn before he's able to get the ball out. Not sure if the running back's supposed to retrace backside to pick him up. Otherwise, drift to the right and make sure you can get that ball away before getting hit.
And I mentioned the awareness by the Irish to fall on that because that did look like a fumble.
Personal foul. Illegal chop block. Offense, number 23 and number 52. That 15-yard penalty will be enforced. 3rd down.
So they're not going to take 4th and 4. Instead, they'll push them back to 15. Zeke Carell is 52. Kyron Williams, the block, picking up the pressure.
So here's Kyron Williams. He steps up. He's probably got linebacker responsibility. Goes and chops him. You're not able to do that. 15 yards. That's tough now for Notre Dame. Last thing you want to do is be in 3rd and 20 situations against this defensive front. Expect a screen, maybe to the running back, receiver.
You see this inexperienced line and the pressure they have seen. Thrown out of the pocket, throws and incomplete. As the big hit came from Jalen Alexander, who made the play earlier on the first drive. So after A first down by penalty. The Irish off the field, and we'll kick it away again.
Again, you're in a 3rd and 20 situation. The last thing you want to do is leave your 3rd string left tackle one-on-one. I think that's really a situation in the game where you try to get as much yardage as you can so that you can try to pin Purdue back in their own territory.
Bramlett kicking one more time to TJ Sheffield again. Fair catch, late signal after the 38-yard kick, and the Boilermakers will start their second drive at 25. 3-0 Purdue. And they've got the ball back when you come back.
On NBC, Golf, and Peacock.
Have you ever wondered if your life could have been totally different? Ordinary Joe new series that asks that question. Ask the question, what if? Ordinary Joe premieres Monday after The Voice, right here on NBC. Of course, the statue outside the gate here in South Bend of Newton Rockne, the 3 national championships, the 105 wins. Brian Kelly going for a win 105, which would tie the record over there with the offense, talking about the protections that they're trying to execute. That's as good Purdue front. Boilermakers take over from the 25 and a run of 4 on first down for Dylan Downing. In-state guy from Carmel, Indiana. The redshirt freshman started his college career at UNLV and transferred back to Purdue after playing only 2 games in Vegas last year.
You know, losing Xander Horvath last week was a big loss for Purdue. Obviously, he was their power back. So you've got these other backs don't have a lot of experience, but they're going to have to carry the load today.
2nd and 6. They'll give it inside. It was Downing for a couple of yards. I had a chance to talk to Horvath today. He went to Marion High School in Mishawaka, just a town over here from South Bend. He is so crushed. His words to me, Drew, this is the game I've been waiting my whole life for. The guy from right here, chance to play in South Bend with Purdue. A very good running back who does so much for this Purdue team. He's out, so they're trying to piece it together with King Doru and Dylan Downing, who you see there.
Well, such a versatile player. Definitely a downhill power back, but did a lot for them in the passing game as well.
3rd and 3. 4 receivers to the right, and the throw's complete to the tight end. First down for Payne Durham, a junior who really has come on here in the offseason and then this season.
Nice job by Purdue. They send the running back in motion to the field, so they create this 4-way. Payne Durham acts like he's running the flat, comes back on an arrow route. Again, 3rd and manageable situation, so 3rd and 4 to 5, you don't have to throw the ball very far to get first downs.
I had to do a double take when I looked at the 2020 stats. He only had a couple of catches. I mean, when you watched him these first 2 games, he looks like a really polished tight end, especially in the passing game part. Irish bring pressure. They throw it to Bell, the top receiver on the Boilermakers, to the 42-yard line. Let's go downstairs to Catherine for more on the quarterback for the Boilers.
Yeah, Jack's younger brother Will is making his first start of the year tonight for the Arizona Wildcats. Their father Brad, he's here for the first time at Notre Dame Stadium. He told me this game was circled on their calendar for years, even when Jack was being recruited. He's so excited to be here. He wants his son to do well. He described Jack as his own leader, very serious. He does things the way he wants to do them. Doesn't ask Dad for a lot of advice. He said he sets his goals. He has done everything 100% by his own dedication and drive, Mike.
You mentioned his brother's starting at Arizona, and their mom, Jody, is out in Arizona. Get to go to Will's game as Arizona tries to stop its 12-game losing streak. A fumble there is jumped on quickly by the Boilermakers. So a little bit of miscommunication or mistake by the center, Gus Hartwig. But Purdue retains possession.
This is something Purdue cannot afford to happen. Sometimes that center just shorts it a little bit. Maybe thought he was under center. I'm not sure, but
how do they not know? There are hands there. Don't you always know that?
Tell you, I used to always come up and hit the hip of the center, so he knew, hey, I'm coming underneath you here. I gotta get the ball. I'm under center.
3rd and 7. Irish bringing 4, and they get there. Plummer escaping, not a terrific runner, and he's brought down shy of the 45-yard line. Kyle Hamilton will get Purdue's punt team on the field.
Nice job by the Notre Dame secondary. Good job up front by Purdue's offensive line. Jack Plummer has to step up there at the last minute. Better tuck that ball away. Notre Dame's looking to knock it out.
A little personnel confusion here for Purdue. They're trying to get the punt team out. And Jack Ansel. Everybody has an Australian punter, and Jack Ansel is the one for the Boilers. In his 20s, yet a freshman from Australia. It's maybe the longest play clock. Look, this Purdue team pulls more tricks than anybody. So as they finally get the right number of people out there, Ansel will roll it and kick it, and a fair catch signal is going to be brought in around the 8-yard line by Kyron Williams. So the Irish will have a long field to deal with for their third drive of this game. 3-0 Purdue on a beautiful Saturday in South Bend.
Jake from
7 plays, 4 net yards for the Irish. Just 1 first down their first couple of drives. Jack Cohn stays in. I guess everyone's asking, well, when will Tyler Buckner get in the game, Drew? When will Notre Dame bring the other quarterback that has a little bit more to his running game?
We saw him come in the 4th series last week. I would assume we would see him at some point here very soon. Whether it's to come in for a play or a few plays, or to take an entire series. Let's see what happens here with Jack Cohn still in.
You may say, well, they're going to come in there. They're backed up. Well, he did last week and let the Irish down the field. Give to Williams, run to the right for Kyron, who gains about 5 yards. I enjoyed talking with Kyron yesterday. He's learning. He doesn't have that same offense. Buckner's some of the running game right now, so the running back opportunities are a little bit different than they were for Kyron's first couple of years. So he's learning to have some patience as he runs and try not to hit the grand slam with every handoff. He's got on 2nd and 6, and he is met and stopped right away. The third big play for Jalen Graham, who was in there for a big loss.
Here's Jalen Graham right here. Just blitzing off the edge. Nobody accounts for him. One of the better athletes and better tacklers on that Purdue defense. It's a guy you really want to account for, obviously.
In the NFL, he may have been whistled for targeting with an emphasis on that. 3rd and 8, or rather for taunting, I should say. Pass to the sideline is incomplete. Trying to get to Joe Wilkins Jr. Wilkins was well covered. That's a very quick 3 and out for the Irish, who've run 10 plays and have only 1 first down to show for it.
I'd be surprised if Tyler Buckner is not in on this next series. I think Notre Dame's offense needs a spark. They really haven't been able to get anything going. Seems like there's some miscommunication up front with some of these run schemes. I think when Buckner's in the game with what they're doing, it's a little bit more simplified. Hey, we're giving it, we're pulling it, we've got the RPO. It's just a lot more for the Purdue defense to worry about.
Bramlett's 3rd punt. Not a good one. On the run, Sheffield took a 34-yarder, took it quickly out of bounds at the 41-yard line. So that's a net of only 28 on that kick. However, there is a flag. Purdue certainly won the field position battle here early on, not just with their offense, but with special teams.
During the return, sideline warning, Notre Dame, their first of the half. There's no yardage penalty. Full media timeout.
And Purdue take over the best field position of the day at the Irish 43, leading 3-0.
Regina approaches the all.
The NASCAR playoffs continue at Bristol on NBCSN.
Next week, nail biting, sweaty palms, loudest first tee in the world. The Ryder Cup. We'll have it on NBC, on Golf Channel, on Peacock from beautiful Whistling Straits along the shores of Lake Michigan, just a couple hundred miles from here in South Bend. Can't wait to get there next weekend. Purdue takes over at the Irish 43, leading by 3, trying to establish a run game, and nothing going on there with the carry for King Doru one more time. And the lost helmet means Payne Durham's going to have to come out for a play.
Now this is the second time Notre Dame's defense has really been given a short field. Purdue's been running the ball effectively thus far. They've been finding the short, quick completions, finding themselves into third manageable situations. Here they are, 2nd and 10.
TJ Sheffield went in motion, pressure off the edge. Plummer retreats, got it out there, and it's brought in by Doru, the running back, with a nice move to get to the 36-yard line. Jack Plummer bailing, trying to stay alive on that play. Got it out to Doru.
Notre Dame brings pressure off the edge here. Jack Plummer drifts right and actually has the running back wide open. If he can get the ball to him faster and a bit more accurate, this could be a really big play for the Boilermakers.
It was Isaiah Pryor trying to get in there for the Irish. 3rd and short again for Purdue. And they will try to run 3rd and short and will not get there.
This is really interesting here, Mike. It's going to be 4th and 1. Points are valuable, but this is on the outskirts of field goal range here. I think it's just one where you really need to go for it. And it sends a message to your team too, Mike. We know the type of mentality that Jeff Brom plays with in his play calling as well. They are aggressive. If you have one of those trick plays in the bag, which you know he does, this is the time to bring it out.
Brown keeps the offense out. The running back is Dylan Downing. He's ready to get a timeout. Timeout, Purdue.
Timeout, Purdue. Their first of the half. 30 seconds.
We mentioned the rivalry. It goes back to 1896. It is a renewal of something we saw annually for about 7 decades, from the 40s on through 2014. Every year, whether it's in West Lafayette, here in South Bend, even in Indianapolis, the last time these teams met, dominated by Notre Dame over the years, twice as many wins. And there's the route, 111 miles. Our crew made that drive through the heartland. 35 Purdue players from Indiana, not as many with Indiana's or Notre Dame's national profile. And that's what they play for, the Shillelagh. And it's been sitting in Notre Dame's football office for the last few years since it was last won. A trophy brought over from Ireland in 1957. The Irish have held on to it for quite some time. Most of the trophy games that Notre Dame plays, they've held on to. Spot for the Shillelagh in the Purdue football office. It's an empty case today. They'd like to change that tonight. 4th and 1, quick snap around the edge, and a stop as Milton Wright tried to get there. And Kyle Hamilton said no.
All right, here's Kyle Hamilton right here. Watch his reaction when he feels the speed sweep handoff to Milton Wright. That shows the athleticism and the range that Kyle Hamilton brings to that defense. Not only a ball hawk in the middle of the field, but a guy in critical situations like that, instinctive, he's going to find a way to make the play.
And Jeff Brom unhappy with the execution there. We saw the range of Kyle Hamilton as a defender in the middle of the field, as a safety at Florida State with his 2 interceptions. And we see it there in the run game.
This is the momentum that Notre Dame needs. Really have not been able to do anything on offense thus far.
4th drive from their own 35. Cone protected, fires, caught in traffic. Beautiful throw to catch of 18 for Avery Davis.
I like the aggressive play call coming right off of that quick change. Nice route by Avery Davis, but an even better throw by Jack Cone, fitting it in between the underneath defender and the safety over the top.
Quarterback change. Tyler Buckner comes in for his first snap for Notre Dame. The freshman from the 46 lines up to take off, creating space, trying to get to the edge. Buckner does. It's a gain of 4, but it got a lot of folks out of their seat. And let's watch here on the sideline as they're still peeling bodies off there. And Jalen Alexander from Purdue shaken up a bit as he came over to make the stop.
This is what Tyler Buckner brings to this offense. This looks to be a QB power. They pull 2 offensive linemen. He runs about 45 yards in order to gain 5, but still turned a negative play into a positive one.
And Alexander, 36, who went running around as Buckner got away from the would-be tackle by Jamari Brown. 36 makes the stop in the bench area, and as he was trying to get himself off the field, he wasn't going to make it, and the Purdue training staff was pointing to him, just go down. 1, to make sure you're healthy. 2, to make sure they don't run a snap. We'll be right back.
When we talk about
Injured player walked off. Since he got injured when the clock was running, they restarted the clock, and the quarter comes to an end. So after 1, it's Purdue 3 and Notre Dame nothing. We'll be back at Notre Dame Stadium after these messages from your NBC station. Glad you're with us on this Saturday as you're watching Notre Dame football. Presented by NerdWallet.
our brand new trusted weather team.
Our aerial coverage on this Saturday in South Bend is brought to you by Geico. 55th anniversary of the 1966 Notre Dame championship team, perhaps the greatest team in Notre Dame history. 9-0-1, played in the Michigan State game of the century, and one of the people who has for many years helped promote Notre Dame athletics, Roger Valdesari. It's the year he started in that job as sports information director. He was being honored as well, all on hand in South Bend here today. Tyree the carry, gain of a couple of yards on that one to the 38-yard line. You see Buckner is still in the game, and he's telling the guys, get on the ball and go quick before 3rd and 2. The 2 receivers out to the left, only 1 defender for Purdue, but Notre Dame ran it, and they're going to lose a yard, and it's going to be 4th down.
I think you go for it here, Mike. They're sending Jack Cohn back in the game. It appears to be what they're doing. 4th and 3. Plenty of plays in the playbook that fit this profile, especially when you've got a tight end like Michael Mayer. You've got receivers outside that match up well against these Purdue DBs.
So the starter, Cohn, comes back in. He is 2 of 6 passing, both to Avery Davis.
I like it. We call that explode. Get to an empty set, quick snap, find your best matchup.
Cohn throws in the middle, it's caught, and Davis will score. Notre Dame touchdown, it's Williams.
Great call by Tommy Reese here. Quick shift that throws Purdue off a little bit. They drop a defensive lineman, but Jack Cohn fits it in there to Kyron Williams. Really great execution by those 2 guys, 2 veteran football players. It's a big play for Notre Dame. Take the lead here.
My mistake, I saw the 3, thought it was Davis, but the quicks of Williams, who's been a big factor in the receiving game, with 10 catches now on the year and a 39-yard touchdown. Extra point added by Jonathan Dorr. Receiving touchdown number 2 for a guy who's become a much more complete back over his first couple of seasons in South Bend. What a throw by Cohn in between the 2 defenders. Williams takes it home. The Irish take the lead.
When you're driving a lane,
You need to try it first.
Again, great call by Tommy Reese. Quick shift. Purdue's trying to find their matchups. You've got Kyron Williams right here. He can run out. He can break in. He sees the hole inside. He breaks in. Again, great job by Jack Cohn feeling the dropper and fitting it in there before he can get there. We call that just me to you. Make it work. Fit it in there. Good job by 2 veteran guys on that Notre Dame offense.
And Williams' 3rd touchdown of the season. 2 in the air, 1 on the ground. And the Irish lead for the first time this afternoon. Jonathan Dorr with the kickoff. It will be a touchback. Purdue takes over at the 25. And time now for the top performance, brought to you by Mercedes EQ. Did you know this was coming?
Hey, I recognize that guy.
1999. Drew Brees, the Boilermakers. beat Notre Dame 28-23, 24-30, 317 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 rushing touchdown as well. I won't mention the 1 interception. But I love what you said about this rivalry, how much it has meant over the years, especially to Purdue and their fans.
Absolutely. In-state, this used to be one that we played every year. Obviously, it's gone away for a little bit, but to have it back and in a meaningful way. You know, both these teams are 2-0 right now. They both have high aspirations for what they can accomplish this season. And I know, throw records out the window, though. This game is always competitive. It always comes down to the wire. I would expect the same thing today.
And Notre Dame, as you mentioned, for years playing Big Ten teams, that was always a big one for Irish fans and the players. As a matter of fact, this is the first time a Big Ten team has been in this stadium in over 3 years. It's the handoff one more time to Dylan Downing, and the redshirt freshman is limited on the game. So the Michigan game to open the season 3 years back was the last time a Big Ten school was here. September 1st of 2018. It's the longest stretch between Big Ten opponents playing in Notre Dame Stadium in the 92-year history of this stadium. You could see the Big Ten back in South Bend. 2 runs get you to 3rd and 1 coming up.
Purdue's brought in their 6th offensive lineman, kind of a blocking tight end, Musa, number 93. They get up quick.
They run it quick on the Irish. Stuff it. Myron Tagovailoa. Amosa. Another tackle for loss for the Notre Dame defense.
Watch here. All these offensive linemen are supposed to be down, down, down. And somehow, some way, Myron makes his way through there. Obviously, in a short yardage situation, you just want to cover up everybody on the offensive line, make the second-level defenders make that tackle.
So Notre Dame's biggest defensive players, Tagovailoa, Amosa, and Hamilton coming through with big stops. You can see Kyron Williams checking the sun as he looks into it for this punt. Not a good one that time around. Notre Dame will get away from the Jack Ansel kick, and it'll be down at the 42-yard line. So we talked about Notre Dame and such a good offensive line over the years. Tommy Kramer just let go by the Lions. Eichenberg the Dolphins. Hainsey the Bucks. Banks the 49ers. They're all stars from last year in the NFL. And then you go through 2 left tackles in back-to-back weeks. So now starting a 3rd left tackle. It's part of the reason that the Irish are in the bottom 10% of yards per carry and sacks allowed. And that was nowhere near any of the conversation that you've had about Notre Dame football for the last 5 or 6 years. There are players in this program who will be good. They are learning under fire right now. Good blocking there as Chris Tyree runs to the 47-yard line. Catherine.
Yeah, well, it's a much more positive vibe with the O-line right now on the sidelines here. Mike, earlier in the game, Notre Dame offense came off the field, and O-line coach Jeff Quinn had some choice words for his group. Brian Kelly came over, sat down, looked at the entire group, and said, do your job. But after that Kyron Williams touchdown, it seems to be a much more calm down here, Mike.
Nice job by Cole to stay patient as the pressure is coming and flip it to Tyree to midfield. We have 3rd and 2 coming up. And we have a whistle for
defensive number 36. His helmet came off. It's off for 1 play.
Jalen Alexander comes out again.
Yeah, speaking of this Notre Dame offensive line, they're just a different offensive line than they were last year. Not power run anymore. It's a bit more on the perimeter, athletic guys.
Get it out quick because of that and the presence of Karlaftis, the good pass rusher, and Tyree gets the 1st down at the 47.
So really just a philosophical change. And to be quite honest, I don't think they've quite found that identity yet in the run game. When Tyler Buckner's in the game, obviously we've seen some real ability to get on the perimeter, RPOs, read option game. But when Jack Cohn's in the game, you know, what's it going to be?
First down, Karlaftis hits Cohn as he throws, and it's incomplete as he tried to thread it to Kevin Austin.
So Karlaftis will line up left, he'll line up right. Here he is on the right side against Josh Lugg. And just watch this pass rush move, just knocking the hand down. It looks simple, but he's a guy that, as big and strong as he is, you think power, but he's got great pass rush moves, counter moves, ways to get to the quarterback that just not a lot of guys have.
On second down, out of the pocket, Cone, good throw, it's complete. Michael Mayer cannot get away, and it'll be third down.
You know, Karlaftis doesn't have a sack this season, but you know what he is doing? He is being disruptive. He is pushing the pocket. Watch here. He doesn't get the sack, but he obviously changes the result of the play by making the quarterback now have to scramble, get the ball out before he wants to, and really creating opportunities for others on that defense.
And Tommy Rees said, hey, we put up his picture. The offensive coordinator said on Sunday for everybody to look at. It's the last time we're going to mention his name, but we're going to spend the rest of the week trying to figure out a way to stop him.
He's been on the right side. It's third down. He's now on the left side, right here.
Going up against the first-time starter, who protects well as the pass by Cone is incomplete, and it will bring up fourth down.
Offense stays on the field, 4th and 5. They had success going for it on fourth down last drive. This is hurry-up mode. They're getting set quick. Quick Mike ID by Jack Cone. Looks like man-to-man coverage. You want to find your matchups. You got a nice one-on-one down here at the bottom of the screen. Jalen Graham, Michael Mayer. Let's look at that matchup. When they go man-to-man, they want Jalen Graham covering tight end Michael Mayer today.
Purdue bringing 5. And the throw is incomplete, intended for Mayer with a flat. And Graham knows it. You can see he hung his head right away. But he knows he was being aggressive and got there 1/2 second early. Although Brom doesn't believe it.
Prior to the pass being thrown, holding defense number 6. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot includes an automatic first down.
See that right arm around the waist, that's what they get with that flag from the back. Very tight call on fourth down with tight coverage. And Brown may have a little reason to be annoyed with that one.
Well, Jalen Graham was in great position. He was right on his back. There's no need to grab him. Just put yourself in a position where you see the ball thrown, you can jump in front and knock it down.
Number 32, here's Cone taking a shot for Austin. Battling down the sideline, it's incomplete. The flag comes here as he and Jamari Brown were pushing, and it's going to be against the Boilermakers. It's a number of times we've seen that in the first 3 games. Austin drawing flags.
Purdue gets aggressive here, goes cover 0. Again, corner, you're in good position.
Pass interference. Defense, number 7. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Includes an automatic first down.
And that's different with this Purdue defense this year, and that's the way Jeff Brom wants his defense to play.
From the moment last season ended, Jeff Brom cleaned house on the defensive side. He knew exactly the scheme that he wanted to run. He wanted to be aggressive. He wanted to put pressure on the quarterback. He wanted to push and pester the quarterback and not give them easy completions, really make them earn it. So he went out and found the defensive coordinators in Brad Lambert, Ron English, Mark Hagan. All these guys have had input into this defense. Make them more aggressive. Get that front active and going up front. Corners, press coverage. We're not giving up easy completions. More pressure, and we've seen that thus far this game.
And there is Lambert, who was calling the defense at Marshall the last couple of years. He was the head coach at Charlotte for 8 years before that. He's one of the 3 co-defensive coordinators. 7-yard run by Tyree. Irish at the 11. Same play. Pitch it to Tyree into the boundary. Only a yard there as the very busy Jalen Alexander joins Dedrick Mackey for the tackle. We have third down coming up.
Again, hurry-up mode with Tyler Buckner in the game. Try to catch Purdue out of position. They're trying to substitute.
Notre Dame brings a second tight end on as Avery Davis comes off. All 5 plays with Buckner have been runs so far. And Notre Dame's going to take a timeout. Part of getting Buckner used to all this is being able to handle things at the line of scrimmage as he's easing into the start of his collegiate career.
And that's one thing both Brian Kelly and Tom Rees said is they're not trying to rush him along. They're not trying to give him more than he can handle at this point. They want him to be able to play fast, play confident. Certainly we see this kid's upside and his ability to throw the ball, even though a lot of that's happened outside the pocket thus far, both with the runs, the RPOs, the read option game. What I'm looking to see today is, are they going to call some pocket passes with him? Because if I'm Purdue's defense, all I've seen from Tyler Buchner thus far is him making plays outside the pocket. I haven't seen him make a play from the pocket yet. So when you think about these defensive ends and just the discipline of, hey guys, keep this guy in the pocket, don't allow him outside the pocket, and let's see if he can beat us from there.
You see what they did last week. So much of Buckner's running, although he did throw 3 passes and complete them. And so the Notre Dame fan at home is saying, hey, when are you going to throw? We've heard this kid can throw, and we've watched him. He's got a great arm and a quick release. When is he going to throw? It's coming.
It's coming. We may see some today. Who knows? I think at some point, they're going to have to show that he's capable of standing in the pocket and throwing the ball down the field.
And they want to make sure he's ready to do it, especially in a spot like this where you're not going to turn it over. At the 10, 3rd and 3, Cohn's the quarterback. He's going to throw. End zone for Austin. Incomplete coverage by Mackey. And on 4th down, Jonathan Dorr in the field goal unit will come on for Notre Dame. Went for their best receiver in man coverage. Could not be caught, so Dorr will come back in. Big pressure field goals early in this season for Jonathan Dorr. The game winner in overtime at Florida State, and a big one last week against Toledo from 48. This is his shortest attempt of the season. And from 28 yards, Dorr knocks it through in the Irish. He scored on back-to-back possessions and lead by 7. In recognition of a partnership 200 years in the making, Guinness, a proud partner of Notre Dame alumni and fans, has teamed up with Joe Montana to remind fans everywhere that good things are in our grasp.
Guinness and Notre Dame.
Jersey Mike's, a sub above.
Pressure on tonight. First elimination race to the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs. And it happens in Bristol, so you know it happens fast. 7:30 Eastern Time tonight on NBCSN. Mike Tirico, Drew Brees, Catherine Tappan with you here in South Bend. Temperature in the 80s, just a gorgeous day for this renewal of Notre Dame and Purdue. Tough kickoff and mishandled, but back on it for the Boilermakers is Marcellus Moore, but he cannot get back to the 20-yard line. Let's get back to the Purdue quarterback in his day so far.
Jeff Brom has set this up nicely for Jack Plummer. Get the ball out of his hands quickly. First 3rd down of the game. Quick slant to David Bell. Screen throws. It doesn't matter how you're blocking up front if you're getting the ball out of your hands this quick. Watch this. They let a Mike linebacker run free right up the gut. He's able to get it out to David Bell. This has been a good, efficient passing game early on for Purdue, allowing them to just slowly move the ball down the field. They're going to need a drive here to put themselves in scoring position.
Worst field position of the day for Plummer. Protected and gets it out complete. But the gain is limited as it's brought in by King Doru. Drew White, captain and linebacker for the Irish, in 3rd year as a starter, erases that one. Good success on that first drive, 10 plays and sustaining it, but since then, Marcus Freeman's defense has been able to keep the Boilermakers in check. You get a look at those last 3 drives. 3 and out last time around, but that's Milton Wright in motion. It's a backwards pass, so he's alive to throw. It's covered downfield, and he is down. Brought down, I think that was Nana Safo-Mensah, the junior from Fort Worth, Texas. Stayed disciplined, big loss for the Irish D.
Nice job by the Notre Dame defense here. Going to motion Milton Wright, going to throw it so it's a backwards pass. David Bell stalks, runs deep. Kyle Hamilton stays disciplined, stays deep. One of those things where as Milton Wright, hey, next option is to run, but defender is on him right away, putting Purdue in a 3rd and long situation here.
3rd and 14. Foskey off the edge with the pressure. Hits the quarterback Plummer. And the Irish defense with a couple of excellent back-to-back series.
You can tell the Purdue defense is gaining some confidence right now. A couple good drives in a row. Here's Isaiah Foskey, one of their best pass rushers. Gets on Jack Plummer quickly, not even able to get it to the running back underneath. This crowd's starting to get amped up. D-line's starting to get amped up.
Foskey's been a difference maker for this Notre Dame defense. Some sacks. He's got a long reach in there, too, on special teams. He's off the left side of the screen as Notre Dame comes after the punter, but he gets rid of it, and it's another poor kick. So after a poor kick, good decision by the special teams coach, Brian Polian. Let's heat up the Aussie. Jack Ansel, who's never punted in front of a crowd like this, and the Irish will get good field position yet again. For Purdue, defense coming on the field. You know this guy, Roosevelt Colvin.
Yeah, teammate.
You're familiar with some of their defensive ends. Sean Phillips.
Another teammate.
Not Anthony Spencer, right?
No.
Okay.
No, that was after me. He hit me a bunch.
That's right. So did Rob Dinkovich. That's right. Super Bowl champion. Cliff Averill had some success with Detroit and Seattle. Ryan Kerrigan, who's been such a good player over the years in the NFC with Washington, now on Philadelphia's roster. And they continue with that tradition with not just Karlaftis, who we've talked about. We also saw DeMarcus Mitchell. 5 and 15 can make plays off the edge for this Purdue defense. They got to come up with something big. Good field position for the Irish. The long throw is complete to Braden Lindsay to the 33-yard line. That should be a Notre Dame first down if the mark is right on the spot. Might be just short.
This is what Jack Cohn does extremely well. 1, 2, 3 throw. These rhythm throws. That's about a 35-yard throw on this out route to the field, but he delivers it accurately. Again, that's working to his strengths right now.
Great for a play caller. 2nd and 1. Cohn will just hand it, and the first down picked up by Williams inside the 30 to the 29-yard line.
Notre Dame seems to be having some success with this up-tempo offense now. They're not huddling. They're looking to the sideline. They're getting the play. Quick substitutions. Seems to be unsettling for Purdue's defense right now.
Kevin Austin alone at the top of the screen. Hand off inside. Good job to get out of that initial tackle for the moment for Williams, but then Marvin Grant cleans it up. Just a gain of 2 as we're down here at the 6-minute mark of a quick move in first half.
You know, a lot of times that's what you want to do if you feel like you're a little bit stagnant on offense, if you hadn't had success. Speed things up. Let's get the tempo going. I think it puts everybody in that mindset of tempo, of finding a rhythm. You quit thinking so much and you just react to what's right in front of you. And also it can unsettle the defense and wear them down.
Set out the screen. Swing, I should say, to Tyree, and he'll get to the 22-yard line. So they'll set up 3rd and 3. I think kept an eye on Karlaftis there. Notre Dame has done a good job so far of keeping the defensive star in check.
Yes, they have. In most cases, they've been giving Karlaftis a lot of attention with additional linemen. In that case, you're getting the ball out so fast that even if he beats the offensive tackle right away, you're throwing the bubble screen. It's basically an extension of the run game.
But his presence on that line gets everybody's attention. Quick movement here by the Irish.
Full start. Offense, number 52. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
And part of calling a game plan to help when you have a big pass rusher is on the offensive coordinator. Quick and get it out of their hands. Let me help my young tackle.
You run the ball and you're leaning on him. You're getting the ball out of your hands quickly to frustrate him. And then the other times you're doubling him. You're sending another offensive lineman out there. You're chipping him. You just let him know it's going to be a long day.
Purdue trying to get a timeout, and they do here. It was 3rd and 8.
Prior to the ball being snapped. Timeout Purdue. They're 2nd of the half.
So the Boilermakers down to 1 timeout if they get the ball back. When we talked about the defensive end tradition at Purdue, they also have a great tradition of quarterbacks. Rare group of schools who have produced multiple Super Bowl winning quarterbacks. Just saw Joe Montana, or Joe Theismann on the field. He and Joe Montana. Elway and Plunkett from Stanford, McMahon and Young from BYU. And then the schools, they've given us 3. Starr, Namath, and Stabler with Bama and Purdue. Glenn Dawson, Bob Greasy, and you. Speaking of those quarterbacks, we checked in with one of them this week.
Hey, Drew. Congratulations on a great career. Now you're going into something that you can handle. It's going from the playing field to the broadcast booth. And let me tell you, it's a breeze.
Advice from the great Bob Greasy.
Absolutely. Well, I know Lynn Dawson, Bob Greasy, they both had great transitions to the booth. I used to love watching them call games, so I guess I'm just following in their footsteps.
Pressure's on you, right?
That's right. That's right.
3rd and 8 out of the Purdue called timeout. They got 6 up at the line there. How many are coming?
Here we go. Michael Mayer, Jalen Graham. It's got to be a matchup that the Fighting Irish like.
And the throw to Austin is incomplete. They will sneak free for a second. Cone let it go, and Jonathan Dorr is going to come back out for about a 45-yard field goal attempt.
One-on-one matchup there with Kevin Austin. He does a nice job slipping inside. Mayer one-on-one with Jalen Graham. That's a good battle right there. We're going to see a lot more of that today.
5th time, Cone's trying to get it to Austin. No completions. Jonathan Dorr from 45, off the left hash. We thought they may have had a false start there, and Dorr just completely mishit that one wide left. So the Irish hit 3rd and 3. A flag backs him up to 3rd and 8. Dorr from 45 is not close. Purdue's got it back with 1 timeout and good field position. Late 2nd quarter.
Regina approaches the All-11.
Thursday at 8, only on NFL Network.
So yesterday, a team came in and took a picture day before game. That happens, but not always. Dartmouth not playing here, but playing at Valparaiso. Buddy Stevens brought his team in here. They landed in South Bend before they got on the bus to go to Valparaiso, Indiana. Said, hey, you know what? Let's stop as a surprise to the players and check out Notre Dame Stadium and get a picture. Dartmouth playing Valpo, leading 14-8 as they start the 3rd quarter in their game. This pass complete for the 1st down on a good start to the drive, much needed to David Bell. I just point out with Dartmouth for a second, the Ivy League didn't play last year, so those players had not played in 2 years. So those guys were so jacked to get back on the football field, and I had a great chance to visit with a whole bunch of them before the game. And Dartmouth's wide receiver coach, David Shula. Oh, wow. Former NFL head coach with Cincinnati, of course. It was great to visit with them. What a thrill for those guys. Bell got on 1 shy of the 1st down. On 2nd and 1, Kurt Heinisch is there for another tackle for loss for the Irish. Loss of a yard as the graduate student from Pittsburgh forces 3rd down. But Willie Byron, Tagovailoa Amosa sets this up by going inside, forcing the running back inside to Kurt Heinisch. Notre Dame is stiffening up here with their defensive front. Early in the game, it was 3 and 4 yards a pop with Purdue's offense. Lately, it's been tackles for loss or no gains. Boilermakers just 21 yards total on their last 4 drives. Good matchup up top. They're swinging out underneath, and the stop by J.D. Bertrand denies Dylan Downing a 1st down. There's a quarterback. You've got a slant out here by David Bell. And your wide route by the back, it's man coverage. You throw it to the back, it's probably not your best matchup. You know, find a way to fit it in there across the sticks to David Bell, or go to the other side of the field to Payne Durham in man coverage. Last 2 kicks have not been very good for Ansel. So Brendan Cropsey, freshman from Saline, Michigan, a suburb of Ann Arbor, with the punt and a beauty. That will go all the way down to about the 12-yard line. So Cropsey had 1 punt last week against UConn. They bring him in, and he comes up with a beauty. Purdue needs something. Their offense has been stifled by the Irish, who have the lead with 3 minutes left in the 2nd. Jack Collinsworth going to join us here. Corey Robinson as well. State Farm halftime. Tim Brown is here, Irish legend. That battle in Bloomington has just ended. A welcome to those of you who watched Cincinnati come back and beat the Hoosiers 38-24. And maybe the play of the year. I think they're talking about what happened in the Oklahoma-Nebraska 50 years after the game of the century tight game played today in Norman. It's all coming up on the State Farm halftime. Cincinnati, the next opponent for the Irish. They won that game, so the Bearcats very well likely to come in here as a top 10 team. The Irish undefeated, leading Purdue. Slow start. Notre Dame has picked it up, and a throw from Buckner is incomplete as Tyler, the second quarterback, got in there for the Irish, and Kevin Austin could not bring it in the sixth time Austin's been targeted with no receptions.
Tyler Buckner's key in the slot defender here. If he commits to the run, he's going to go ahead and kick it out here to the bubble. It's exactly what happened. It's just one of those ones you got to complete. You got a blocker out front. Part of the RPO game is making those pass plays an extension of the run game.
Been mostly Cone, a little bit of Buckner, whose running ability here is something Purdue is on high alert for, as you would expect. Loss of a yard that time as Marvin Grant, good-looking safety for the Boilermakers on the stop.
Again, based on what we've seen Tyler Buckner do when he's in the game, the Purdue edge defenders just need to think, keep him in the pocket. Just don't let him get outside the pocket. That's when all of his production takes place. They were able to keep him inside the pocket there on a design run. Nice stop for the Boilermaker defense.
So 3rd and 11 and backed up. Buckner taking most of this series, and now it will be backed up a little bit more.
3rd and 11.
False start. Offense, number 79. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
3rd and 11, they were going to play man coverage. It looked like it was going to be a 5 or 6 man pressure. You now go back to 3rd and 16. Let's see if they go to zone, something a little more conservative, just keep it in front of you. No sense in playing man coverage and taking a chance on just a one-on-one matchup.
A flag on Tosh Baker, making his start for the first time in college. Buckner taking off, got away from Karlaftis. Can he get the first down? He does! What a run by Buckner. Got away from as good a defender as there is up front in the Big Ten and got a first down.
Watch where they put Karlaftis here. They put him over the right guard. They must like that matchup. Good job spinning inside. Had his hands on him. Purdue had an extra defender inside, just weren't able to make the tackle.
Buckner trying to step up, and this time the Boilermaker defense gets to him. It'll be a loss of 6 with Karlaftis there. And if he gets that sack, it will be his first of the season.
If he's not beating you on the edge or using a spin move, he is just going to push you back into the lap of the quarterback. He's lining up all over the place. He was right in there. The play before, he was over the right guard. He's such a versatile player. He can beat you with power. He can beat you with speed.
They go through 2 guys, knocked off the helmet of Kyron Williams. That pass is caught. Avery Davis with the first down for the Irish.
Offense number 23's helmet came off. He's out for 1 play.
And it's a first down.
He's all the plays a first down.
It's the second time Jack Cohn's made a throw like this. Really nice job of getting that ball up and down. You've got a defender underneath. You have to get it over, but you have to get it there before the safety over the top can make the play.
And Cohn again fires to the wide side. Incomplete for Braden Lindsey. As you undoubtedly heard the chatty referee, Kyron Williams had to come out for a play because his helmet was knocked off. So it'll be second down, minute 14 left. Irish have 2 timeouts.
Here we are, 1:14. Notre Dame has 2 timeouts. You've got plenty of time here. 2nd and 10. Find another completion. You can run it.
Cohn, nothing there. Looks for space. He's got Austin open. He overshot him. Kevin Austin got past Dedrick Mackey, the corner. Just couldn't connect.
They max protect. It's a double move. It's an out and up. This is one of those plays where you got to hit. You have to find a way. You're throwing it to one of your best receivers. A big receiver on a smaller corner, just give him a chance. Even if you underthrow him, give him a chance to jump up and make a play. He'll either catch it or get a PI in that case. Tough to miss out on those opportunities.
Irish now face a 3rd and 10, and Cohn steps up, strokes it. It is just a half step away from Joe Wilkins Jr. So the Irish off on a couple of opportunities with open receivers, and they'll punt it away with 1:02 to go.
Really nice protection up front by the Notre Dame offensive line. 3-man rush by Purdue. gives Jack Cohn a chance to step up. Again, that's just a throw. It's a throw you got to make. You probably locate it a little bit better, but as a receiver, third down, you need to come down with that.
Tommy Reese knows it.
Just execution at that point.
Jay Bramlett to hit this punt to TJ Sheffield. His longest of the season. It is 47 yards. Sheffield will be brought down inside the 20-yard line. What else? Another tackle by J.D. Bertrand. Been a lot of those so far this year.
Train your mind. Train the game. Because your only limits are the ones you put on yourself.
All right, Mr. Breeze, 51 seconds, one timeout. Boilermakers haven't done much. They're backed up. What do you do?
You know, I think this is actually a good situation for Purdue. You get a chance to speed up the game here now. You get some tempo with the 2-minute drive, 51 seconds. You have one timeout. Still thinking get the ball out of your hands, especially early in this drive. You got a fresh defensive line that's pinning their ears back, rushing the passer. Let's get some completions. Let's get a first down or two. Clock's going to stop on a first down, obviously. But let's just work our way to midfield and then assess where we're at.
6 to Payne Durham on the first one. There's the tight end again. He's got a first down. He's shy of the 35-yard line. 30 seconds. And they stop to move the chains.
You got to think about pushing the ball down the field here a little bit. Clock's going to stop here for a moment, and then it's going to start.
The Boilermakers get the ball to start the second half. Trying to add something before the break and get in field goal range. Foskey with the pressure. The flush out of the pocket as the second level of rush came from Howard Cross for Notre Dame. And a good move by Plummer to get rid of it.
Yeah, again, you're gonna need a chunk here, Mike. Jack Plummer has time. You're still in a position where you can throw a check down. Soft zone defense. You're still thinking, let's get yards here.
15 seconds left. They will throw it to Jackson Anthrop, who cannot get out of the tackle. And DJ Brown makes that. And as you said, Purdue the timeout with 11 seconds remaining.
So here you are, 11 seconds. You're going to need a chunk. But then the clock will stop on the first down, and you'll have a chance to run up and spike it. Hopefully it gives you enough for field goal range. If it doesn't, you're now thinking about a Hail Mary type situation.
And you mentioned get a chunk, and there have been a lot of big plays. 4 plays over 60 yards for Marcus Freeman and the Notre Dame defense so far. The longest play by Purdue in this first half is 11 yards. So this defense has done a much better job. We talked to Marcus yesterday. It was really about simplify, communicate. And let's not say this is a work in progress we're figuring out. You need results today. What have you seen so far?
I think they've done a really nice job, especially up front, just controlling the line of scrimmage. It really starts there. I think from a play calling perspective, as I watch Purdue's offense, they really haven't taken any chances. They haven't tried to push the ball down the field at all. A lot of it's just been the short pass, quick passing game. I think they recognize that there's some mismatches up front, and they don't want to put themselves in a position for a sack, fumble, or a negative play.
Purdue has run 32 plays. They have a total of 91 yards. They need 2 for the first down, and they will get it again with Jackson Anthrop.
So you got to run up and spike this ball.
At the 48, Jack Plummer awaits it. He's going to take it. He's going to throw. This will be the final play of the half as he escapes out of the pocket. He'll try to launch it deep downfield, hope something good happens. It's incomplete, and there are there's a flag over here by the quarterback. No flag downfield, but a defensive flag here on Notre Dame at the end of the play would give Purdue the ball at around the 37-yard line.
The result of the play is an incomplete pass, and the half is over. After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct, defense, number 57. That 15-yard penalty will be assessed to start the second half. That's the end of the first half.
And that will be assessed on the kickoff because Purdue gets the ball, so they'll get good field position. Dead ball foul, not during the play, so there's no extended by 1 down because of a defensive foul on the last play of the half. 10-3 Notre Dame State Farm halftime report continues after these messages. And a word from your local station. You're watching Notre Dame football presented by NerdWallet.
Today is the first day.
Live local breaking news.
Halftime festivities wrapping up in South Bend. Purdue gets the ball first. Notre Dame leads by 7. Mike Tirico, Drew Brees back upstairs. Only one play over 10 yards for Purdue. They ran about 35 plays in that first half. So credit to the Notre Dame defense. What did you see that they have improved upon?
I felt like they were pretty stifling in this first half, especially over the last couple drives. It's been all 4-man front this week, different than weeks past where a lot of those big plays were coming versus a 3-man front. Here, Purdue tries some trickery with a double pass. Not so fast by the Notre Dame defense. Great pass rush. Isaiah Foskey's been a huge source of their pass rush throughout this season. He's obviously a guy coming off the edge with speed that you have to contend with. And then in the passing game, it's been a lot of these quick throws by Purdue. This fourth down, this was a big stop for Notre Dame on the second series. Kyle Hamilton has made a lot of plays when he's been low in and around the line of scrimmage today. A little bit different area. Typically he's back deep middle, deep half, but just shows his versatility. And Notre Dame has really stepped up and playing well on defense today.
So Purdue can't take the top off the defense quick with a super fast player, but how do they improve and try to get more chunk plays in the second half?
Well, first thing, they got to get the ball to their playmakers. Your best players are David Bell, wide receiver, and Payne Durham, your tight end. Those guys each maybe just had 1 or 2 catches in the first half. You have to find a way to get the ball in their hands because they're the ones who are going to present the matchup problems. They're the ones who are going to help turn small completions into big plays.
Let's flip this over. When Notre Dame had the ball mid-first quarter on, I felt like they were more steady. They were better. They moved it. What does the Irish offense need to continue to do to keep control in this game?
I think when they've had the most been the most effective, it's been with tempo. Tempo, whether it's Jack Cohn in the game or Tyler Buckner.
Right.
But they've had some big play opportunities. Some of these go balls, a lot of man coverage, a lot of aggressive defense by Purdue. They just haven't been able to take advantage of some of those big play opportunities.
Taking 12 shots to their receivers, Austin and Wilkins. They have only completed 3 of them. Second half coming up. You know, throughout the season, we're looking at the ways Notre Dame students and professors are impacting the world. And today we learn about a student who has drawn from her own experience en route to an extraordinary scientific breakthrough.
You're watching Notre Dame football, presented by NerdWallet.
10-3, quarter 3 about to get underway. Purdue limited on the ground. Irish more passing yards than rush yards. Turnover-free first half. Time possession a little bit in favor of Purdue. Boilermakers started with the benefit early. Notre Dame played better as the mid-first and second quarter went on. Purdue band, great halftime performance. Without the band, signature item. The drum remained outside, but the band performance was still great, so that controversy is done. We can now return the internet to Nicki Minaj's cousin, and we can get back to the action here in South Bend. Third quarter set to get going. Irish to kick off to the Boilermakers. Remember, there was a 15-yard penalty on Notre Dame at the end of the first half, a dead ball foul, so Purdue should get good field position to get started, and Marcellus Moore is back deep to catch the kickoff. Jonathan Dorr will kick it away. Third quarter underway. We'll see who remains unbeaten. That's a good kick for Dorr to the 11-yard line. And here comes Moore. Nice return. So that penalty allows Purdue to have very good field position to start the second half. Let's go down the sideline. Catherine.
Well, Mike, Brian Kelly just told me this game is on our guys right now. We have to play with energy. We have to play with intensity, and we've got to maintain that for 4 quarters. We had some missed opportunities on offense. He was satisfied with the defense. As for Jeff Brom, he said he's not happy with his offense right now. They need to run the ball, get more plays. He said we're not moving the ball well. He likes the defensive approach of being more aggressive, but the offense has got to help out. Mike?
Yeah, this is an offense that we have seen, again, against not as good competition as the Notre Dame defense, but average around 40 points and 480 yards a game. They're far from that in the first half. Jack Plummer, the junior from Gilbert, Arizona, not related to Jake Plummer, the former Cardinal star and Arizona State star. The handoff to King Doru. Goes to the 40-yard line. So we asked Jack Plummer, which he gets asked all the time. No relation, right? No, absolutely no relation to Jake Plummer. He said, but people call me Jake all the time. And his name's Jack. So even our guy with the headsets on the sideline calls me Jake. Somebody in the family of Purdue football. Let's get it right. It's Jack Plummer. 2-0 to start this season.
They spread it out.
Notre Dame bringing heat. And Plummer throws behind it and complete. For the first down, Mershawn Rice, sophomore from Reynoldsburg, Ohio.
Pressure from the Notre Dame defense from the weak side here. A lot of free access to the field. That's one thing about this Purdue offense. They're going to take the free access throws. They're going to take easy completions. They're going to move the chains. One thing we haven't really seen them do yet, though, Mike, is take a shot.
I told you about the very limited number of big plays. More pressure from Notre Dame. That patented Plummer spin move, and he throws on the run. It is incomplete. Trying to get it to his tight end, Payne Durham. And one more time, Drew White. He's done a nice job in early downs covering the tight end.
Nice job up front by the Notre Dame defensive line, slanting, creating some mismatches up front. Good escapability by Jack Plummer, at least to find an incompletion and not take a negative play.
Second and 10, empty again, another throw. Another blitz by the Irish, incomplete. Good job not to go down by Anthrop, and a good catch after the run man. Jackson Anthrop takes it to the 30-yard line. Biggest gain of the day for the Boilermakers for the first down.
So it's a cross-dog pressure by the Notre Dame defense, but when those linebackers pressure, it opens up a big void in the defense right here. Watch Jackson Anthrop just find a hole there, and then it's run after the catch from there. This is where Purdue's going to have to make their hay in the second half. Just find completions, but then yards after the catch.
Mom and Dad Boilermakers, brothers as well. Jackson Anthrop's been around from West Lafayette. From the 30, again pressure, and the throw is complete. This time it's Brock Thompson, who played at Marshall last year. He gets 11 yards, and Purdue best-looking drive of the day.
So it's a three-man front. We get first three-man front of the day from Notre Dame. Watch all this pressure hitting, but you got free access. Look how far the corner's off. We'll take that every time for a 10-yard. You throw the ball 5 yards, you get a 12-yard completion out of it. That's been the theme of this drive thus far, just taking those easy completions.
Purdue in the red zone at the 19. And a flag will stunt the momentum here.
False start. Offense, number 87. 5-yard penalty. First down.
You know, noticing, Drew, as this game has gone on, Notre Dame's kind of flipped their corners here a little bit. Clarence Lewis is playing over in the boundary, the short side of the field. And Cam Hart, 5, who was playing in the boundary the first 2 weeks, has flipped over to the field or the wide side of the field.
You know, they made that change. They made that change this week. Typically, that boundary corner is long. You need to be physical, press. Don't give up easy completions into the boundary.
15, this pass complete to Brock Thompson. Get the penalty yard plus a couple back.
Purdue continues to take advantage of those free access throws. It's really the hallmark of this offense. They're going to do just enough in the run game to keep the defense honest, but at the end of the day, they want to throw the ball. They want to get it out quickly, and really a lot of those throws just become an extension of the run game. It's hitches, it's these bubbles, it's screens.
Second and 8, Payne Durham, the tight end, the motion man. Going with the quarterback, Plummer. He's got it. Hamilton comes up to make the stick. And a gain of just a yard.
It's a big third down for Purdue here. 3rd and 7 in the red zone. We'll see if we get man or zone from Notre Dame. If you get man, though, you got to think David Bell. David Bell is in the slot. When David Bell is in the slot, that's a big alert.
Notre Dame's got a personnel issue here. Notre Dame's going to have to take a timeout. They got a personnel issue, and they're going to get one. Notre Dame had 10 on the field, I believe.
Timeout. Notre Dame, their first of the half.
I don't know if they were trying to get a 6th defensive back. They were out on the field. So they didn't play much 6 DB the first 2 weeks. They were looking at 6 defensive backs there. Bo Bauer, 52, was in the middle, recognized it, ran off the field because the defense was called for 6 DBs. And it looks like Ramon Henderson, the sophomore, who's seeing more playing time, was the one who was not ready to get out on the field there for the Irish. So defensive staff saw it, Brian Kelly saw it, and I'm sure the guys up here in the coaches' booth saw it because we did, and they got the timeout. defense making some changes. Here's the deal. Watch Bo Bauer, 52, standing right around the 11-yard line. He is all over what's going on as the call comes in. Hands are up for the call, what it needs to be. And now Purdue has changed personnel, so Notre Dame's going to change with it.
It's amazing what one different person on offense can mean for a defensive substitution.
There are 11 on the field. 3rd and 7 for the Boilermakers in the 15. And Plummer throws incomplete. Had an opening for the first down, but Milton Wright did not connect. 4th down coming up. We'll have a field goal for Purdue.
Yeah, this is one Purdue really has to have. It's free access. Ball just goes right through Milton Wright's arms.
It's a good throw.
Purdue had put together a really good drive there. The ball was certainly catchable. You got to make that play in that situation.
A good throw with Howard Cross bearing down on the quarterback. So here's Finneran. Made one from 34. Going to try to do it again. From the right hash. The transfer from Sanford knocks it through. Plummer threw for 82 yards in the first half at 49 passing on that drive. Should have had more, too. Lead for the Irish is 4.
Nerds. This year.
Place to start.
Notre Dame football on NBC is brought to you by NerdWallet. Turn to the nerds. And by Lincoln and the power of Sanctuary. I mentioned Brian Kelly's first win as the coach of the Irish, 23-12 over the Boilermakers here in 2010. And now going up against Jeff Brom, trying to get win 105, which would equal Newt Rockne for the most wins by an Irish head coach. Notre Dame recognizing that, despite the fact that the number includes 21 wins that were vacated after the NCAA had their ruling back some few years ago, which was vehemently disagreed with by the Irish administration. Irish will take over the 25. Purdue defensive end George Karlaftis. What's he been up to so far, Drew?
Well, Mike, you do high knees to get loose before the game. Karlaftis tries to throw a med ball through the wall.
I'm going to try that.
Watch this variation in moves here. Swim move on the right guard, making the play in the backfield. The next one, how about speed on the edge? But that's not all. Now we just go straight power, bull rush, put the right tackle on skates, push him right back into the lap of the quarterback. The reason this guy's such an elite player is, first off, he's as good in the run game as he is in the pass game, but his variation in moves, speed, power, and then his counter moves are second to none.
In the 25, first throw is high, and Nair is hit and is exposed across the middle, trying to bring that in, and the pass is incomplete. We do have a flag back in the secondary. And the Irish athletic training staff going to come out to check on the outstanding sophomore tight end. Mayer was trying to get
prior to the pass being thrown, holding defense number 1. 10-yard penalty includes an automatic first down.
Penalty on Dedrick Mackey, and Mayer who walking off under his own power. See that hit. It's trying to bring the ball in.
It's a bang play here. You know, such a reaction by the defensive player. Looks like
Terry McCauley. I'm going to bring you in here real quick.
So this should have been a targeting foul, Mike, on the Purdue player. Replay should stop the game. He takes aim for the purpose of attacking. He lowers his helmet and leads with the crown into the body of the receiver. That's a targeting foul.
Even though it's into the body.
Yes, he makes forcible contact to any part of the opponent's body, targeting.
Run inside game, not stopped by replay to look at it. A gain of 3 yards. So, Terry, we always see targeting. We talk targeting right away. We look for players who are getting hit up by the head or the quarterback. But even though he was exposed and going for the ball, because the crown of the helmet is involved there?
Exactly. He lowers his head and leads with the crown and makes forcible contact to the body of the opponent. That is targeting.
Pass complete here to Braden Lindsey, but the limited game, Jamari Brown in on the tackle. It's a great catch by you, Terry, because as we put the rule up there, that's exactly what that first part says. Fortunately for Purdue, the game was not stopped by the replay crew. Fortunately for the Irish, Michael Mayer is back on the field quickly.
Karlaftis lined up here over the right tackle. Let's see this matchup.
It's the experienced tackle.
Playing zone.
Josh Lugg. Walk them back. Deep throw cone downfield. Avery Davis this time. All the way home. Notre Dame touchdown.
Watch Purdue safeties. They're low. They're playing these intermediate routes. Avery Davis. These are the routes that they missed on in the first half, but that you have to make. Perfect throw by Jack Cohn. Great setup on the route by Avery Davis. Plenty of room out there to lay the ball. Really great execution by the Irish.
And Davis, the grad student from Cedar Hill, Texas, who calmly threw the two-point conversion last week against Toledo. Gets the touchdown here. Extra point added by Jonathan Dorr. Longest pass of the season for the Irish. They swung and missed at a couple of home run balls in the first half, not in the third quarter. Davis to the house. Notre Dame leads by 11.
Well, Geico's 80.
We'll take a look at this quarterback comparison. It is brought to you by Under Armour. Jack Plummer had success on the last drive with 49 of his 131 yards, but Jack Cohn responded. The longest play of the day, 62 yards to Avery Davis, and the Irish retake the lead by 11. 5 minutes into this third quarter. All right, what's the quarterback seeing on this play?
He's keying the front side safety here. It's a brackets, quarters look, but that's the safety he's looking at. That safety's responsible for crossers, in cuts, but it leaves the defender over Avery Davis really one-on-one with outside leverage. So Avery Davis runs up, makes a nice stick move outside to gain a little bit more leverage, sets the angle. Jack Cohn throws him open on that angle. Really just great execution all the way around by those two.
That's got to feel great after the close calls on deep balls for Cohn in the first half.
They had at least 3 or 4 opportunities in the first half. Obviously, that was a big emphasis at halftime for them.
King Doru is the running back. Purdue trying to continue the momentum of the last drive. There is the back out of the backfield. Run after the catch. Clarence Lewis makes the tackle. Doru gains, we'll give him 8 yards on that one. If you're watching another game, we're not with us earlier. Xander Horvath, the top running back for Purdue, is out. He's out for at least a month. Surgery on the broken fibula. Kid who desperately wanted to play in this game. He's from Mishawaka, Indiana. This was the hometown game he dreamed of playing. And Purdue misses him, but Doru taking his opportunity to have an impact on the game. Inside the 40-yard line, down to the Irish 36. Good run by the junior.
So watch the corner blitz here into the boundary. You see all the linemen are slanting because they know they've got this corner. He's responsible now to make that tackle. If he misses it, that's what allows the running back now to get into the secondary. Second level, you got a receiver to block the safety. That's where the big plays have come against Notre Dame here over the last couple weeks is really just missed tackles on the second level.
31, longest run for Doru. And Plummer tries to pay it off. Downfield with a flag and a catch by David Bell. Their top offensive pass catcher has been quiet, but a big one there, even with the flag. And it'll be first and goal for the Boilermakers.
Pass interference. Defense. Number 5. Penalties decline.
At some point, Purdue's going to have to take chances. What a great play by David Bell. He's had to maintain concentration. He gets grabbed, thrown off balance. But this is why he's one of the best receivers in the Big Ten. Watch this. He's falling backwards. Able to maintain his concentration, bring that ball in. Nice play, David Bell.
Big pass by Plummer after the big run. As Purdue down at the 4. Took the high snap and the inside run. Heinisch for the Irish is there to stop Doru, and it'll be second down. this game is going, Purdue getting down here, they feel like they've got to get a touchdown. I know it's early, still half of the third quarter to go, but from a momentum standpoint, Notre Dame's offense has played better. This really feels like a get-6 drive for Brown and the Boilers.
Purdue's not really built to run the ball down here based on that front mismatch.
It's a give. Doru one more time. Adami Lola. Jason of the two swings. First to get to it. And it's going to set up 3rd and goal.
Once again, bigger, heavier front than what Purdue has. So you got a lot of these one-on-one matchups that you're just not going to be able to hold up. They try to double team to the linebacker. Both the defensive tackle and the linebacker end up getting off their blocks and making the play for no gain. So now here you are, 3rd and 3 from the 3. Situation where you got to throw the football. You got David Bell up top into the boundary. You've got Payne Durham. Payne Durham here, David Bell here. Those are your matchups. Those are guys you got to get the ball to. See this safety leaning over here. That's where I'd be thinking.
Plummer throws towards Bell. Incomplete. Flat. Coverage was Clarence Lewis over in the boundary with Bell.
You knew that's where Purdue wanted to go. You had a one-on-one matchup, your best receiver against their boundary corner, but a guy who just shifted over to becoming a boundary corner in Clarence Lewis. Good decision to go
Pass
there.
interference, defense, number 14. The penalty occurred in the end zone. By rule, the ball be placed at the 2-yard line with an automatic first down.
You know, a lot of cases, these DBs are in great position. Clarence Lewis, you're in great position. You don't need to have your arm wrapped around the receiver's waist. Put yourself in a position where you're on his back, but when the ball is thrown, you got to let go and go after the ball.
We got the number right eventually on the announcement. It was 6, Lewis. It's a 1-yard penalty because it's pass interference in the end zone. The ball comes to the 2, but obviously fresh set of downs for Purdue. And Plummer going to try to hit it in the air. What a catch for the touchdown by Milton Wright. Milton Wright peeking behind the defender. Hart brought it in with that right arm, and the Boilermakers have their first touchdown of the afternoon.
You know, usually you throw fade routes to the boundary, not to the field, but they go to the field this time to Milton Wright. What a catch. He's able to shield off the defender, right hand, traps it against his chest, gets both feet down. That would have been a touchdown in the NFL.
Good on Thursday, Sunday, Monday, in addition to Saturday. Wright, the junior from Louisville, Kentucky. That's Jeff Brom's neck of the woods. Brom was a star quarterback there. Grew up there. The Brom family, great roots. So Louisville, very fertile recruiting ground for the Boilermakers. And they get Milton Wright to the end zone for the touchdown. Extra point added by Mitchell Finneran, and Purdue answers the Irish TD with a good drive. First, David Bell threw the pass interference with the circus grab. And then the touchdown to Wright. 17-13, halfway through the third. Irish up
4. Since childhood, I've
Jersey Mike's, a sub above.
Good one this afternoon. Great one tomorrow night. Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, Baltimore Ravens, and Lamar Jackson.
See if the Ravens can get over the hump. They haven't been able to beat Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs yet.
We'll join Tony Dungy, Chris Sims, rest of the crew. Jack Collinsworth heading out to Baltimore to meet up with Rodney Harrison. Maria Taylor be with us as well. The whole gang for Football Night in America right before kickoff, 7 o'clock Eastern tomorrow night on NBC. This kickoff towards out of bounds, and it is. So a mistake on special teams for Chris Van Eekern. And the Irish should take the ball at the 35.
Bounds. Kicking team number 57. The ball be placed at 35-yard line. First down.
Here's Catherine Tappan.
Well, Mike, after the Avery Davis touchdown, Brian Kelly came right over to the wide receiver group. He focused on Joe Wilkins Jr., Kevin Austin Jr., and he said, "You've got to go. Keep this thing moving. I need you to go." Brian Kelly has been extremely vocal and hands-on all afternoon on these sidelines, especially with the offensive line and even defensively as well, trying to get his team in this game, Mike.
Wilkins and Austin still looking for their first catch, even with multiple targets. You know, Catherine, I think it's Brian's experience of being around for so long, his 39th year as a football coach, 31st year as a head coach. He may need to be the vocal leadership and spark for this group. I don't know if these guys have it in terms of the players. Gain of 6 here for Williams. on first down. Andrew, you can speak to this from all your time in locker rooms. Like sometimes you got the player that you knew when your guys needed to be lit up and talk to them. This isn't the same kind of group for Notre Dame right now.
No, but I think what Brian Kelly sees too is the opportunities are going to come the receivers' way. They were there in the first half. They missed out on a lot of them. But the way that Purdue plays defense now, this aggressive style, there will be one-on-one throws down the field.
In the 31, they'll run it again. Good pop to the outside by Williams, who has the first down at the 36 before Cam Allen made the tackle. Gain of 5, and the chains move.
Yeah, 2 good run plays in a row here. You know, it's these types of run plays that you can have some success with that they're going to set up the play action opportunities. See if they get a you check, we check here. Looks like Notre Dame might be changing the play. Pressure look from Purdue. Let's see if they stick with it.
And Cone is protected, throws incomplete. A lot of coverage over there. Jamari Brown, the last to it, with Braden Lindsey, the intended receiver.
So Notre Dame feels the pressure here. They check to a heavy play action. You're getting max protection here from these tight ends. Jack Cone able to deliver the ball down the field. Just good coverage.
Left arm was in time, had the right arm on his stomach. The run to the right, Williams got out of the Karlaftis tackle. Gets back to the line of scrimmage, that is about it. Marvin Grant, the sophomore from Martin Luther King High School, won a state championship in Michigan, playing for that school in Detroit.
Yeah, watch Karlaftis. What do we say about him in the run game? He's not a guy that you want to run at, because he has the ability to lock out and then shed the tackler, or shed the blocker, and either make the tackle or force a misdirection from the running back that's going to allow the rest of his defenders to run and make the play. So here we are, 3rd and 10. It's a big third down for Purdue.
From the 46, Cone out of the pocket, thrown on the run towards Austin, goes up. Incomplete. Had his hands on it for a second. Jamari Brown pulls it back down. And it'll be 4th down. Brown, an imposing 6'3", the Kentucky transfer.
Yeah, Kentucky transfer also starting at that boundary corner this game in place of the injured Corey Trice. He does a nice job of just finding the ball and then getting his hands in there. He's not grabbing, not risking getting a PI penalty. He knows he's in good position. Find the ball, jump up, knock it down, or try to pick it off.
Jay Bramlett will kick it away for the Irish. TJ Sheffield awaits. Good hang time. Well placed as well. Oh, he caught it. He took it back in his own end zone. Will he be able to get out of the pickle? No. Dreadful mistake by Sheffield. A terrific kick by Bramlett. And the sophomore Sheffield went back for it. Lost his place on the field. Scramble.
And Peacock.
62,000 here last week for the Toledo game, much closer to the capacity. 77,000 on hand in South Bend today, and it'll be packed in a couple of weeks when Cincinnati comes in. Irish go to Chicago next week and take on Wisconsin at Soldier Field. So this the meat of the Notre Dame schedule with ranked teams and good teams, starting with Purdue, unranked but undefeated. From their own 4, they get it to Bell, and the receiver works free for 3. They'll mark him out at the 7-yard line. He lost a shoot.
Some teams just will hand off like a fullback belly or something to get 2 to 3 yards off the out of the end zone. Purdue goes 5 wide, throws a screen to their best player, gets into a 2nd 7.
Quarterback Plummer will swing it out. Jackson Anthrop got away from Isaiah Pryor. He's very close to that first down. He'll get it with the mark at the 14-yard line.
Again, it's these type of pass plays, getting 4 yards, getting 5 yards, getting 6 yards. To Purdue, To Purdue, this is like an extension of the run game. Three-man front by Notre Dame. That's typically something that's been problematic for them.
We've seen teams run against that a lot. They're going to keep throwing it back out to Payne Durham. Into the 18-yard line. And this is what's become Purdue football for quite some time. It certainly was when your old coach Joe Tiller got there as basketball on grass and has returned to at least the thematic of that under Brown.
It is. I've said it a few times today. It's the passing game that is really an extension of the run game. These are very high percentage throws. You're throwing screens, you're throwing smokes, you're throwing these little underneath option routes where guys are catching it at or near the line of scrimmage. And then it's the run after the catch that really becomes the benefit.
And Plummer here takes off, and he has the first down just shy of the 30-yard line.
Nice job by Jack Plummer. Drops back, feels the parting of the Red Sea. Obviously a free rusher outside, takes off and runs.
This is what you talked about with the percentage of pass plays. Well, only Washington State has thrown it more as a Power 5 team since Brom started in West Lafayette. This is now his 5th season, after replacing Darrell Hazel as the head coach.
Still a three-man front.
From the 29, here is Plummer. This time not going to get away, and he is brought down by Justin Ademilola. So the Ademilola brothers, the twins, have lined up next to each other a little bit the last couple of weeks. Both are making an impact on the game. Justin with the tackle there.
As a quarterback with a three-man front and no pressure, you know they have extra defenders in coverage. So you may have to work, you may have to scramble to find someone, but what you cannot do is take a sack here. It puts you in a second 14 situation. As a quarterback, sometimes the best play you make is to throw the ball away to avoid a negative play.
Second sack of the season for Ademilola. Here is that long swing to King Doru, the running back. Kyle Hamilton in space, and he comes up with another tackle for loss in this one.
Now, what's really not high percentage is trying to throw the ball out to a running back when you have their best defender in a position to make this tackle. Looks like there's some confusion from the tight end Payne Durham. He really should be going to block Kyle Hamilton. Instead, he goes inside. And that's a play that Kyle Hamilton's going to make more often than not. 3rd and 15 here. There's not a lot of plays that you like as a play caller, especially when you feel like you're outmatched up front.
Irish fans bringing the noise. Irish front four brings pressure. Plummer trying to just get it to Doru. He could not. He was about to get hit by Jason Ademilola. And the Irish defense comes up with 3 good plays in a row to send the Purdue punt unit on the field.
Again, 3rd and 15. You know you're going to have to hold the ball for a little bit. You drop back as a quarterback. You're ready to slide and move. He tries to dish the ball to the check down. Nice job by the Irish secondary. There's really nobody open down the field. You got to avoid those 3rd and long situations.
So after 3 punts from Jack Ansel, the last 2 were bad. They went to Brendan Cropsey, and he hit a 56-yarder. So he's back in there now. And will rugby it away. And on the run, it is brought in by Kyron Williams with a return. Across midfield, a flag comes down as Williams was knocked down at the 44-yard line. The Irish have not had any big returns in the punt game this season. Went to Kyron Williams as a punt returner. Just he had one more opportunity to get his hands on the ball. He got a nice return out of that, but it looks like flag will erase some of that game.
During the return, holding, return team, number 45. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Notre Dame ball, 1st down and 10.
There it is with Bo Bauer at the top of your screen. And Catherine, that erases what would have been a good gain for Kyron Williams in special teams.
Yeah, and he's been enjoying that returning punts this season. Florida State was the first time he had ever done it, and he told me it's so much fun making people miss, trying to juke them out. He said special teams coach Brian Polian was the one pushing him, telling him, hey, Eagles wide receiver Devontae Smith did it, and he won the Heisman. So Williams said that he actually idolized Deshaun Jackson growing up and tries to model his punt returning after the Rams wide receiver. He's elusive, he makes people miss, and then he go. And that's exactly what Williams is trying to do here with his punt returns, Mike.
Add something to it. And most of the best teams have talented return men out there. stemmed from the Purdue line as they moved legally. Could have caused the Irish to move. Long conversation here.
False start. Offense, number 79. 5-yard penalty. First down.
We've gotten Tosh Baker twice. I asked Brian Kelly, have you ever gone through 3 different left tackles?
Defensive line will do this sometimes, or linebacker will say, move. They'll get that defensive line, a quick shift. Sometimes that'll throw guys off a little bit and force them to twitch.
First and 15. Cohn escapes to his right. He'll take off. Hey, Buckner's not the only quarterback who can run. Cohn will get 4 yards on that one. Brian said, I've never in my career been in a situation where it's 3 different left tackles in a row. He said, we're used to, whether it was Martin or Stanley or McGlinchey. Left tackles here, like 3 in a row are in the NFL. Not 3 in a row making their first collegiate start in consecutive weeks.
It's definitely been a challenge for this Notre Dame front. There's nothing like continuity for an offensive line. The more that those guys have a chance to play together.
2nd and 10 pressure. Cohn throws. It's complete for the first down. Lindsey frustrated they had to go down to get it because he was thinking run after the catch on Dedrick Mackey, the corner.
Watch Chris Tyree here come across the line of scrimmage. Pick up. That's one of those. Jalen Graham's ready to jump and throw his hands up, and then the minute he knows that he's about to get hit in the stomach, he brings his hand down, possibly preventing a tip ball or a knockdown.
Tyree says it's not just Kyron Williams who can help out the offensive line picking up pressure.
That's right.
I can do it too.
Purdue's in a field pressure look here. You got Karlaftis. You got Jalen Graham.
We'll run the final play of the quarter. A run right to midfield. Gain of 3 for Tyree. They'll flip sides, put the ball right in the middle of the field, and get the 4th quarter started. After 3 here in South Bend, Notre Dame 17, Purdue 13. Back after these messages from your NBC station. You're watching Notre Dame football presented by NerdWallet.
Law and Order Thursday.
Live local breaking news.
Doesn't campus look great from above? Our aerial coverage is brought to you by Geico. And a return to the traditions of fans on campus into the 3rd quarter. The 18-12 overture as we take a look at the score by quarter, brought to you by NerdWallet.
You got a man matchup in the boundary right here if you want to take it.
Cohn goes underneath that, and Tyree's got room to run. Chris Tyree down the sideline, stepped out of bounds, but it's a first down. They're going to mark him at the 31-yard line, and a gain of 19 for Tyree.
You watch this here, there's confusion as to who's covering the running back out of the backfield. It looks like it's the inside linebacker, but when the tight end, who Jalen Graham is covering, runs inside, sometimes they'll switch it off. Ends up being 2 on the tight end and nobody on the running back. Ends up being a big play there for Notre Dame.
Tyree's very close to tightrope on the sideline there. He stepped out a bit later. They'll mark him at the 31. First down for the Irish on the move with a 4-point lead. This will be just a run of maybe a yard or 2 as Lawrence Johnson comes in and pulls Tyree back down. Tyree had far fewer carries than Kyron Williams and far fewer snaps as well. But a good chunk of Tyree here in this second half.
He's certainly a weapon in the passing game, but definitely someone you just want to get the ball in his hands in space. He can make people miss.
Look over to the sideline to the signalers adjusting the play. With 2nd and 7 coming up. The inside run, Tyree maybe to the 26 before 3rd and 5. Catherine's happened.
Well, Chris Tyree and Kyron Williams have been talking all afternoon on the sidelines together. Chris Tyree told me that he's learned so much from Williams. He said he radiates energy on the field. It's contagious, and he said that helps everyone on the field. The two are always talking during practice. He said even when we're watching film, we're talking about things. We're talking during the games. There's just a lot of trust and communication between us, and he has so much admiration for his teammate Williams.
And KT, they were telling us yesterday, Kyron, when we visited with him, how much they enjoy being on the field together. We haven't seen much of that in the game today. 3rd and 5.
You see Jalen Graham running out down here to the boundary to cover Michael Mayer. See this matchup right here. Michael Mayer's been pretty silent today, but he hasn't gotten many one-on-one opportunities.
Wide open throw, though, for Codes, complete to the 11-yard line, and Avery Davis has a first down in front of the safety, Cam Ellis.
There have been plenty of one-on-one opportunities for the receivers here. Avery Davis does a nice job of really shielding his defender with the point receiver. You almost create a natural pick. And then that's an option route. He's got a three-way go. He can sit it down. He can break out. In that case, he chose to break in. Nice conversion for the Irish.
Star on the paper for Josh Lugg and Kane Madden. You saw the offensive lineman double-teaming Karlaftis to keep him quiet. From the 11, inside run. Good steps by Tyree to cut it back inside and get 3 out of that. To the 8-yard line. Jalen Graham, the tackle.
Yeah, this drive, in a way, is a little bit of what the old formula was in years past with Notre Dame, with that bigger, more physical offensive line. But here, look, they've been pounding a little bit, getting 3-4 yards a pop.
They've run it better today, just lining up.
They have. I think they're starting to hone in on what their scheme's going to be when Jack Cohn's in the game, what their scheme's going to be when Tyler Buckner's the quarterback. But they've been effective, certainly here in the second half. They're motioning empty.
Out of the backfield. And Cohn stepping up in some trouble, and he is sacked. Karlaftis was coming around from the edge, but DeMarcus Mitchell was there on the inside. One of the few standouts for Purdue last year got in there for the sack.
You know, DeMarcus Mitchell is one of those guys who doesn't get talked about as much because of Karlaftis on the other side. But really the compliment of both these guys, certainly the attention which Karlaftis will get, should open up opportunities for guys like DeMarcus Mitchell. They're going to need him, especially during the fourth quarter of this game.
3rd and 11, Irish can get a first down at the 1-yard line.
Notice they flip sides here now. Marcus Mitchell on this side, Karlaftis on the right.
And Notre Dame's going to take a second timeout here. So they're only going to be left with 1 timeout for the remainder of this fourth quarter with this 3rd down call coming up from the 12. I mentioned the Irish play Wisconsin, then they play Cincinnati after that, getting to the meat of the schedule, this hardest stretch of the schedule. And of note, what did Wisconsin do today? They didn't play. They were off. Cincinnati beat Indiana. Tough game and blew it to 200 miles away. They're off before the Irish. Matter of fact, the next 5 opponents have an off week before Notre Dame.
I don't know if I've ever seen anything like that before.
No, and what it is, it's the reality of being an independent, and the other schools in their conference, they're trying to help their teams here a little bit. So the Big Ten, ACC, Pac-12, it's spread across the country there. And the American, everybody helping out. It's going to be a tough trip next week, a back-to-back Big Ten game. What a scene it'll be at Soldier Field against Wisconsin. They were supposed to play at Lambeau last year. That was canceled because of COVID. That's pushed back for a couple of years from now. Meat of the Irish schedule starting here with Purdue. 3rd and 11 from the 12. Cone, pressure, throwing back to the end zone. That's incomplete. Wilkins was trying to get free in the back. And a field goal attempt coming for the Irish.
No help on these tackles this time. Watch Marcus Mitchell get pressure here. He gets around the tackle. He's able to force Jack Cohn to pull the ball back in right here, which I think forces him to be a little errant with his throw. He lets it go high. That's a good stop for the Purdue defense there.
2 red zone trips for the Irish, no touchdowns. It's Jonathan Dorr from 30. That is leaking to the right, but it just sneaks in. The Purdue players look back to the official with questions. But there's an official right under that upright. He's looking straight up. Dorr sneaks it in the side door. And it's 20-13 Irish.
Golf and Peacock.
Irish take a 7-point lead on that 11-play, 53-yard drive. And just to update the drum, it's still there. Now back to our regularly scheduled coverage. Jonathan Dorr just snuck that one in. Not reviewable because the ball went above the upright, so nothing to look at in replay. Marcellus Moore bringing it back. Isaiah Pryor's got an ankle on him, and he's capped off on the tackle by Jack Kaiser. Long field for the Boilermakers. How about the progressive game flow if you are just tuning in? Notre Dame's defense very good in the first half, keeping Purdue's high-powered offense under 100 yards. Kyron Williams had a third down, 39-yard touchdown grab that put the Irish on top 7-3. They've maintained that lead throughout. Jack Cohn's hit 50% of his passes. He's played the entire second half. We have not seen Tyler Buchner. David Bell had a big catch late in that last drive that got Purdue down for their first touchdown of the game. Part of how we have arrived at this 7-point margin. Boilermakers throwing the pass incomplete as it is through the hands of the wide receiver Milton Wright.
Based on the way Purdue's playing this game offensively, those are the completions that you have to have. They're not pushing the ball down the field at all. It's a steady dose of this quick passing game. It's a little bit of run game. But what they've done a great job of all game is just getting into third manageable situations and converting those.
Number 21, it is a drop for Plummer, who is being pursued. Look out, he's hit as he throws, and the pass is incomplete. Trying to get it to the 35-yard line to Milton Wright. But good pursuit. The Irish front four have done a nice job throughout this game.
It's the first time Purdue really has run a play action. Tight end stays into protection. Good scramble. You've got a wide open receiver in the middle of the field. Purdue has to find a way to make those plays if they want to stay in this football game.
Second time we've called Nana Osafo-Mensah. He had a sack in the first half. He had the pressure there. Fans come alive in South Bend. 3rd and 10. Irish brings 5. Plummer in trouble. He goes down. Myron Tagovailoa Amosa and Isaiah Foskey meet at the quarterback.
Yeah, just watch this front right here. 5-on-5. They're running games. Watch David Bell here. He's doubled. See? 2 defenders. That's what they talked about doing in these third and long situations. Just take away Purdue's best player. Gear up the pass rush. They had a bunch of one-on-one matchups up front. That's going to favor Notre Dame.
Freshman Brendan Cropsey from out of his own end zone on the move. Bad kick. It's out of bounds around the 40. So the Irish will get excellent field position with a chance to take a 2-score lead. They'll take over at the Boilermakers 39.
If we build this, all the players and fans will magically appear.
If the Irish close this out and play well against Wisconsin next week, we could have a top 10 game in a couple of weeks. Cincinnati, impressive comeback in Bloomington over IU. They've been waiting for this game against Notre Dame. We'll see you in 2 weeks for Notre Dame football on NBC and Peacock. Of course, Brian Kelly at Cincinnati before coming to South Bend. A lot of emotion in that game. A lot left in this one. First down, Cohen for the home run shot. Downfield, it is off of Lindsey's hands. Braden Lindsey had 6.
Look at Braden Lindsey. He attacks the leverage. He runs right by the corner, but he's staring right into the sun. You've seen the punt returners. You can tell this side of the field is one where, man, you're looking right up at the sun. You just have to find a way to locate it and make that play. Just yet another squandered big play opportunity for the Irish.
Number 39, here is Cole. He's in trouble, and he'll go down and get sacked by Lawrence Johnson. The Irish had good field position, had a touchdown in their hands. And 2 plays later, Purdue has them facing 3rd and long.
Same play they ran earlier, except this time with Kyron out of the backfield. Purdue plays zone, so they're able to pass it off. What does that do? That allows the pass rush to close in on Jack Cohn. He has to hold the ball, work his way through his progression.
Academic All Big Ten player with a big play there. 3rd and 17. to the area. It's a three-man rush. Cohn will just outlet it to Kyron Williams. Carried it to 38. And here a field goal would be 56 yards. Brian Polian, special teams coach, a word with Brian Kelly. And if you miss it, then you give them the ball at the 45-yard line.
Yeah, really an interesting decision here. You got a lot going on. It's only a one-possession game right now. I think the way your defense is playing, I think you punt it, you pin them down in deep, and have them come up with a stop. Because like you said, Mike, you missed that field goal. All of a sudden, you've given Purdue not only great field position, but momentum.
And you saw the way Dorr mishit the 45-yarder earlier. It wasn't close. It was wide left. He just snuck in the last one. Zave Bramlett can pinch Purdue in deep. Kyle Hamilton down there going to try to stop it. And the Irish do. In college football, it's where the ball is, not the man. So even though he was working his heels by the goal line, as long as he kept the ball from breaking the plane, he was good. And they've left Purdue 99 to travel.
It's really a nice job. Punter hesitates, allows his defenders to get, or the gunners to get down there. Either guy could have caught that. What about the 1-inch line there?
I like Hamilton. I'm going to take over.
Exactly.
Let 14 go. Great job by Bramlett from Alabama with the punt. When they get it at the 1, they don't put it at the 1-inch line. They'll put the ball at the 1-yard line. And Aiden O'Connell is coming in the game at quarterback for Purdue. So the Boilermakers make a QB change. They bring in the 50-year senior O'Connell back at the 1-yard line. He played and played well last week against UConn. Trying to give him some space with a run. And there's nothing for King Dover.
Aiden O'Connell has been a starter for Purdue before. Jeff Brom really likes the way that he throws the ball. He feels like he's an extremely natural passer, very accurate, and being in a situation where you're going to have to make some plays in the passing game, certainly Aiden O'Connell's a guy who can do that for you.
Talk about warm up quick and come in the 9th inning of a close game. Back you up at the 1. O'Connell throwing from the end zone. Good throw in the middle of the field, and Anthrop is on the run to the 29. A gain of 28. Sharp connection from O'Connell with Houston Griffith on the tackle.
You said it, Mike. Backed up at the 1-yard line. Watch him how fast he gets this ball out, threads the needle between two defenders. That is not a throw for the weary. You got to have courage to cut that ball loose from your own end zone.
Marked officially at the 28. It's out quick to the wide side. You can see the strength in his arm as he completes it over to Mershawn Rice, whose second reception of the day takes it to the 33.
Really see confidence in the way that he's letting the ball loose right now, Mike.
When we sat in West Lafayette with Jeff Brom on Thursday, he did say, hey, if we get down a little bit, we need to throw. I would not hesitate for a second to do exactly what he did and bring in the 50-year senior from Long Grove, Illinois. Aiden O'Connell. Look out, Anthrop. Broken up. Great read by Cam Hart, who saw it and took a beeline to the ball and Anthrop.
Great job by Marcus Freeman disguising this coverage. It looks like single high zone, but all at the snap, corner comes up in clouds. This safety goes back deep. What does that do? He's now a cloud corner. He's responsible for the flat. He's going to come up and blow that up. That's one of those things as a quarterback you just have to recognize.
Notre Dame's played a dime defense in some third down situations today, and it's been effective. They hadn't played it in the first 2 games. 6 DBs, a dime on the field here, 35. And O'Connell takes a shot at Hart. A lot of contact. No flag. Incomplete. The intended receiver was Bell. 4th down.
It was a 5-man rush by Notre Dame. Aiden O'Connell knew he wasn't going to have a whole lot of time. He just chose his best receiver, throw it up to him. I don't know how you don't call that.
It was a hole. It wasn't pass interference. They were hand fighting, but the official responsible there didn't see the jersey grab. If they're hand fighting, they kind of let them go, but your jersey grab, it almost never is missed. But it was. Purdue to punt it. Gone back to the Aussie Jack Ansel to kick this time. Line drive. Williams space to get it and go. And there goes Williams in the middle of the field. And just shy of midfield. to the 48-yard line. That's what Catherine Tappan was telling you earlier. He adds energy. He was waiting to get his hands on one. Had a nice return there.
This is more than Bees. We have the meat.
Time for a look at Above the Rest, brought to you by Jersey Mike Subs.
You know, just a couple targets here for Michael Mayer. That a zone coverage. Cam Allen undercutting him here. Jalen Graham's done a nice job in man-to-man coverage on him. But this is what he does. 2 defenders accounting for him on third down. What does that do? That leaves Avery Davis one-on-one down here with outside leverage. Huge post window to throw that ball. So even though Michael Mayer hasn't gotten a lot of targets today, what he's done is he's attracted a lot of attention from those underneath defenders, giving his receivers one-on-one opportunities down the field.
Irish takeover, 6 and change to go. Good run, working through. Williams on the move. Kyron Williams holds on and goes all the way to the 5 and in for a touchdown. What a run! Outstanding 51-yard score.
Kyron Williams is a big-time football player who does so many things for this Notre Dame offense. He talked about patience this week. Patience. He found his way through that hole, broke a couple tackles, breaks another tackle. On his way to making this a 2-possession game in the fourth quarter for the Irish.
Jonathan Dorr for the extra point. And Notre Dame gets the lead to double digits, 27-13. Compact, powerful, speedy, does it all. What a run here.
This was one heck of a run. Kyron Williams, pound for pound, maybe the strongest, toughest guy on the field right there. He knows how to break tackles. He knows how to make people miss. And he knew what Notre Dame needed in that situation. They're looking for a big-time run. They're looking for a big-time play. Well, he made it.
He's been waiting to break out. The Irish have been waiting to break out with a big run. And Tommy Rees, the offensive coordinator, high-fiving up in the coach's box. And Kyron Williams, you remember the Clemson game, the triple overtime classic here in South Bend? Unbelievable pickup of blitzes by Kyron Williams. Big hug there with Brian Kelly. We talked to Kyron about that yesterday, and he said, you know, I was kind of adopted by the offensive line as a 6th offensive lineman. Coach Jeff Quinn, the O-line coach, said, you're so dirty in that game. I love that nastiness you bring. And that was a little offensive lineman. I'm not going to go down on that run for Williams.
Yeah, you endear yourself very quickly to the offensive line when you show that you're not afraid to stick your nose in there. And Kyron Williams is arguably one of the better backs, in my opinion, in college football when it comes to stepping up and taking on blocks, picking up blitzers. He understands his value and opportunity to stay on the field as an every down back when he's not afraid to do those types of things.
And there he was with the O-line with a thank you, and they thank him as well. So it's a 2-score game. 6:05 to go. Boilermakers still have a full bucket of timeouts, and Aiden O'Connell is back for his 2nd series. Begins from the 25, and O'Connell's pass is incomplete as he tried to get it to Jackson Anthony. Tariq Bracey over there in coverage.
Doesn't surprise me. Obviously, Purdue's in a situation here, down 2 scores, 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter, where they're going to have to throw the ball. They're going to have to get some chunks. I think Aiden O'Connell gives them the best chance to do that. They're spread out. Find your best matchups here. I expect Notre Dame to mix the coverage.
Irish rush 4. O'Connell's pass is complete, and a good rally to the ball on Bell. Not getting very far away from DJ Brown. I mentioned that dime defense we've seen a little bit from the Irish. Some other defensive backs seeing time, including 2. Brown from Annapolis, Maryland. They've gone to signs this week. That's different. That wasn't there the first 2 weeks. I ran into the managers on campus yesterday, and they were carrying like 11 signs. They had to do some extra work this week. New, different communication.
That's right. That was nickel on the field. Previous play, they just brought in dime. Dime actually brings 6 DBs on the field. They're running back into zone coverage.
O'Connell throws in that zone. Hamilton with the hit to Bell. Bell caught it. He's saying incomplete, but everyone look at Bell right away as he took a hit, and he looks to be injured. It was a nasty shot that Bell ended up absorbing here. As Hamilton was coming across to hit him, he was turning his body as well to try to avoid a hit with the helmet. Bell got the worst of it, and he's down.
Every game is a
car playoffs. Continue at Bristol on NBCSN.
Well, very quiet here at Notre Dame Stadium as they continue to look at David Bell, the all Big Ten receiver, one of the top receivers in the conference. Here's what happened as Kyle Hamilton came over. He turns to hit, and it's when Bell's helmet hit the field turf here in South Bend. And he has stayed down, and you can just see a couple of things. One, the respect from his team. His entire team is off the sideline and on the field as medical staff from both Purdue and Notre Dame's medical staff is out in case they can be of any assistance as they look at Bell on the field. And he is getting up, which is the best news. And Kyle Hamilton leading the applause along with everybody here in the stadium. So a couple things here, and priority one is the health of a sensational player in Bell. You can see his hands moving there down on the field. He's pulling off his gloves. So they go through all the neurological checklists with the athletic trainers. They have protocols and procedures when there's a head injury like this to watch a player. So they're going to take all the time they need. As I mentioned, Purdue's athletic training staff and Rob Hunt, Notre Dame's head athletic trainer, is there so he can help if any further assistance is needed. That home trainer, home medical staff knows all the procedures in your city, obviously, better than the road team does. As they talk to Bell, I want to bring in Terry McCauley. Terry, you hate to go back and talk about the football aspect of this, but there are two things. One, a catch. Two, targeting. So let's take the targeting thing first. Launch is part of the targeting rule. What happens here in regard to that?
Sure, Mike, he does launch. He does take aim for the purpose of attacking. He does launch. But there isn't forcible contact to the head and neck area. That is the third requirement that's necessary to create a targeting foul. It appears to me all the contact is forearm to the back, below the head and neck area of the receiver. So I don't believe this is a targeting foul at all.
And then the second part, which was announced by the official on the field, that replay was looking at it to see if it was a completion. You clearly saw as he was knocked out, in all likelihood by that hit, the ball hits the ground. He kept his hands on the point of the ball as he went down as well. So replay is going to look at that aspect. And all they said was they were looking at it for complete or incomplete. We had a chance to visit with David Bell down in West Lafayette on Thursday. Just a really respected young man, phenomenal leader on this team. Drew, a great high school basketball player in Indiana, and you can tell, even though he's not the most vocal player, he is as respected as any player on his team within the Big Ten.
He absolutely is. Went to Warren Central in Indianapolis. Phenomenal athlete there, like you said, both football and basketball, leading them to a state championship. Actually came to Purdue even with offers from many other schools, including Notre Dame. Felt like Purdue was the best fit for him. Can't tell you what he's meant to this team over the last couple of years. Not only is one of the best receivers, but a guy who's been a leader in the locker room and somebody that really people admire and respect.
When you hear that, the reception he gets in most of the Notre Dame section, and then you see all of the Purdue players going over with well wishes.
That tells you everything right there, Mike. He's a guy that does things the right way, both on and off the field.
And an Indiana star, not just for his Purdue play, but also, as you mentioned, his great play on a state championship basketball team at Warren Central. They beat Romeo Langford, who plays now for the Celtics, played at Indiana University, with a buzzer beater by Bell.
The field has changed. It is an incomplete pass. The ball will be placed back at the 27-yard line, where it will be 4th down and 8.
So they take Bell back up in the tunnel for further medical treatment and attention, and you heard it's incomplete, so it was a 3rd down. It brings up 4th and 8 for the Boilermakers with 5:16 to go, down 14 points, and they're going to come back out on the field and try to go for this. Unlikely that we will hear anything further with Bell before we're done here, but if we do, we'll certainly pass it along and keep him in our thoughts. But good to see him sitting up and in conversation as he came off the field. 4th and 8, and O'Connell steps up, takes off, gets to the marker, and let's check the spot. He had to get to the 35-yard line, and he is right at the mark, and they're going to move it forward. 1st down on the 4th down scramble by O'Connell.
Aiden O'Connell, not known as a scramble, but that was the only option there. Everybody was covered. It was a 5-man rush. Good job stepping up, going and getting the 1st down.
So the drive stays alive on 4th down. O'Connell in all kinds of trouble here. Gets away and finds Anthrop one more time to the 48-yard line. A pickup of 13 yards to Jackson Anthrop.
For a guy not known as a scrambler, that's 2 nice scramble plays by Aiden O'Connell. He steps up here, finds Jackson Anthrop in the middle of the field.
Again, Purdue, all 3 timeouts, 4:40 to go. O'Connell's pass is incomplete. Tried to get Milton Wright coming inside. Cam Hart, who's had a very active 4th quarter, as he's flipped sides of the field here for the Irish in this game.
Notre Dame has their nickel package on the field, so they still have 2 linebackers in the game. At some point, Payne Durham has to be part of the equation here. He's one of your best offensive weapons as well. Really haven't seen a lot from him today either.
Full start. Offense, number 74. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Right tackle Eric Miller was guilty there. We had 2 tight ends coming in who were honored with the John Mackey tight end of the week in back-to-back weeks. Durham, week 1 against Oregon State, 7 catches under 20 yards, and Michael Mayer for the Irish. But both have been held in check because they were right up there at the top of the list in the defensive rooms this week.
There's no question. Day 1, you walk in the facility, you got a big bullseye on your chest.
2nd and 15 after the flag. O'Connell with the underneath throw. Mershawn Rice for the 3rd time today, battling with Tariq Bracy. Nice run after the catch. And Rice will have a 1st down at the 42-yard line.
You know, if Purdue's able to protect, they can start to run some of these more down the field and crossing type routes. As you can see, tight end picks for the short side receiver coming across the field. That way you're hitting guys on the run, yards after the catch.
Do the same concept here as O'Connell gets it and gains 3. In 4, excuse me. 4:19 to go.
The most important thing is just going down and getting a touchdown so that you can bring this to a 1-possession game. But you also have to be conscious of the clock. You got 4 minutes, 10 seconds left. You got a couple timeouts, but you'd like to score as quick as you possibly can to give your defense an opportunity to come out, stop them, and then give yourself a chance to go on a game-winning drive.
With 37, it's to Rice, and he's got it inside the 30th, 29-yard line. Mershawn Rice had 2 catches coming into this game on the season, and he has doubled that here today. 4 on the afternoon. 3:45 to go. O'Connell pressured underneath. Good one-handed bring it in by King Doru. Gain is limited, and the clock keeps turning. Hearing my old partner John Gruden in my head. 4th quarter pass rush. Notre Dame's trying to get some, but only a 3-man front here. And that throw, good throw, Drew, in that tight window to Milton Wright. I love the way O'Connell throws it.
He's really throwing it well. He's throwing it in tight windows. He's certainly not afraid. Watch this, like you said, 3-man front, so you've got an extra defender in coverage. He still fits it in there between Kyle Hamilton, linebacker, corner over the top. Nice job by Milton Wright making that catch.
They're trying to run here with Doru. He won't go anywhere, just a couple of yards. It was a close battle for the starting quarterback position with Plummer and O'Connell, and you can see every bit of why.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you feel like Jake Plummer has a little more mobility, can move around, can make some plays. But Aiden O'Connell has really been impressive thus far, standing in the pocket, making the tight window throws. And he's actually had a couple scrambles that have been effective.
6 of 7 since the stoppage with the injury, and the throw to the end zone is intercepted by Hamilton. Off the hands of the tight end. It was really well thrown. Kane Durham couldn't bring it in. Kyle Hamilton cleaned it up. And the Irish are in great shape to extend their home win streak.
Aiden O'Connell fits this ball in there, just bounces off Kane Durham's hand, snuck up on him a little bit. Kyle Hamilton in position to get the tip pass. Kyle Hamilton just finds his way around the ball. And when you do, good things happen.
His 8th career interception, his 3rd in as many games this year. Good drive downfield by Brom and Purdue, but it ends with a turnover. Our aerial coverage here in South Bend is brought to you by Geico. The campus looks great, doesn't it? And all you Notre Dame alums that are out there watching. Remember these September days in South Bend. Weather's good, everybody's outside enjoying themselves, and they'll be heading back to the residence halls and the tailgates on campus to enjoy yet another Irish home victory if Notre Dame can salt away the final 2:20 of this one. Notre Dame a couple of minutes away from a 26th consecutive home win. Timeout Purdue here. We're talking about that, hearing from the Stars in the Notre Dame Peacock postgame. Collinsworth, Corey Robinson. We'll hear Brian Kelly's press conference as well. It's coming up on Peacock after the game. Boilers dive into a Big Ten play. After this one, they'll take on Illinois. The Illini with a loss to Maryland late last night. And they'll play PJ Fleck and the Gophers. When you talk about a road schedule, if you like to go watch Purdue football, this was the year. Save the game in East Hartford against UConn, with all due respect to the Huskies. But you come here, you go to Iowa, you go to Lincoln, you go to the Shoe, and that game against Northwestern, that's at Wrigley. I mean, there's some kind of schedule laid out there for the Boilermakers this year.
You're absolutely right. And as you look at it, I think Purdue's certainly looking to make the jump this year. They've had a disappointing couple seasons. But in talking to Jeff Brom, I think he's been encouraged about some of the changes that were made in the offseason, certainly to the defensive side of the ball. I think he loves the way that defensive front is playing. They provide a lot of pressure today.
There's a lot of pride in the history of this program. We heard from Bob Greasy earlier. We've got another special surprise guest for you.
So, Drew, you're on to a new career, and they wanted me to wish you luck from an old Purdue quarterback. Well, you know, I'm just saying, you blew away my college stats at Purdue in like 2 games as a freshman. And then in the NFL, I toiled for 13 years, and you did it in like 2. And now they want me to wish you good luck when I am the best Purdue quarterback doing this? Yeah, right. Good luck. Yeah.
I love Danielson. He's great.
He's great. Hey, I like the throwback jersey. I'll rock the Gary Danielson throwback jersey. How can I get one of those?
That's pretty sweet.
That
Still fits
sweet.
Gary, too, right?
Good.
Much appreciation to Gary. He and Brad Nessler, of course, starting their season over on CBS. But yeah, we heard from Bob Greasy earlier, so it's kind of this Purdue path. Is Curtis Painter going to walk through that door in the next 5 minutes?
I'll be honest. The cradle of quarterbacks was a big selling point to going to Purdue back in 1997.
Here's Williams, stiff arm on the edge, sliding at the line. Did he get the first down? Let's make sure he got the first down. He is marked at the 30. And Kyron Williams, first down, will wrap this baby up. Man, you saw the best of Williams in his 4th quarter.
Tell you what, he's a tough cookie. He is not going to go down with the first tackler. He's either stiff arming you, he's running through you, he's juking you. Such a valuable player to this football team.
And the presence to try to get down inbounds as well. It's when that shin and knee come down where the ball is. After that Williams stiff arm. That's really, really close. And you can see he knew it too. That's what I love about him. To talk about that physicality, such smarts too. Real feel for the game. We asked Kyron when we visited with him yesterday, "What's your major? What's your favorite class?" He told us he's an anthropology major with a minor in sociology. And he said his favorite class that he's taking right now is Educations and Margins, which is a unique class and very fitting for the time. Folks get an unequal opportunity for education, the education system. He lauded his professor, Professor McKenna, for a class that's inspiring him to go back to St. Louis when he gets older and get back to his community.
It's phenomenal that his mind is already thinking about how he can impact his community back at home. Certainly, he appears to be a guy who's going to have the opportunity to play on Sundays, and it has not gone remiss that he wants to be able to give back to the younger generation, to provide opportunities that don't currently exist back in his hometown, and you have to credit the young man. Tremendous football player, but tremendous person and great student athlete.
139 total yards, so Purdue is going to challenge that spot. They had taken their last time out, and they'll use that here. So the yellow line's unofficial, but here it kind of is official because the drive started at the 20. They had to get to the 30. So where's the ball when the knee and shin come down? From looking at that, you would say it's probably a hair behind the line, but is there a definitive look right down the line, as you saw that shot, that is enough to overturn the call on the field? And the camera's sitting on the 25-yard line. That play happens at the 30. And Brian Kelly and the Notre Dame staff were looking at the replay on the big board. It sits over O'Neill Hall here on campus. And Brian Kelly just told Brian Polian to get his punt team ready just in case. If Notre Dame closes this out and wins, it will be win 105, as we said, for Kelly, which would equal the number achieved by Newt Rockne. We asked him about it. What does it mean? And Brian kept it quick. It's Newt Rockne. Like, you're in a different stage, right? The 3 national championships, the legacy. It's such a different time. It's almost a century ago. He said what it is a mark of is an appreciation of the consistency of approach.
After further review, the ruling on the field has changed. The runner was short of the line to gain the ball at the 29-yard line. Well, it'll be 4th down and 1. Purdue gets the timeout back, and they have one more challenge.
We mentioned Newt Rockne in that record, and that's one of the statues sitting out here. The Parseghian statue, the Holt statue, the champion, national champion winning coaches. Kelly earned that 105 wins. He was very honest with us. I respect him for saying this. He said, you know what? If it wasn't about the experience of coaching in college, probably would have tried the NFL at some point. But he said every day he's energized by the student athletes he's around.
And we see that every Friday when we have a chance to sit down with these student athletes from Notre Dame. It's a different experience. The level of character, the level of student athlete is just, you just feel that there's something special here, there's something different.
The 4th and 1 here, and the Irish are lining up to go for that. I would imagine that this is no play.
I would agree, Mike.
Up 14 at their own 29. If they would have run 4th and 1,
it's too big a risk. It's too big a risk to take.
I think we may have heard Newt Rockne call into the postgame shows if that actually happened. There's no way that was going to happen.
That's exactly right. But give Coach Brian Kelly a ton of credit. During his tenure here, and especially over the last 7-8 years, certainly has brought Notre Dame into contention each and every year. And I really look at them in a little bit of a disadvantage from the perspective of, so much of the attention goes to the SEC. So many of the athletes around the country are coming from the Southeast and right in the backyard of a lot of these SEC teams, Alabama, LSU, Georgia, you name it. Certainly the Ohio States. But the way they've been able to go out, recruit nationally,
go out and get tremendous, not only football players, but great student athletes, and put themselves in a position to contend for national championships each year. It's really impressive, the job that Brian Kelly's done.
Irish in the college football playoff a couple of times over the last few seasons. Consecutive 10-win seasons, 4 of those. So let's see if Purdue will come after this one. Bramble trying to get rid of it quickly. He moved to the right, just an escape kick, get rid of it. There's a beauty, too. Very tough to go back and field for TJ Sheffield, who works the sideline. He'll get out of bounds shy of the 40. There's one procedural point. I want to bring Terry McCauley back in here. So, Terry, Purdue challenges, so they get their timeout back. Why doesn't the clock restart in that situation, the game clock?
It should have, Mike. The runner was down in bounds when they reversed it. He's in bounds. You go back to whatever the end of the play was. The clock should have started on the referee's signal.
That's why I was wondering, I mean, why go out there and do that, the hijinks on 4th and 1 to get him to jump offside? But you should have been able to run 25 seconds with an administrative stop on that one. Thank you, Terry. Great having the 3-time Super Bowl ref with us. So back to O'Connell and moving it down the field with Anthrop. A flag is down after a gain of 9. And it's back where they were trying to protect the quarterback.
Holding. Offense. Number 68. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Myron Tagovailoa has had a big day today in the pass rush. You've seen him have multiple quarterback pressures, a sack or 2. Here he goes, causing a holding penalty, which in a 2-minute drive, obviously this game is it's going to be borderline miracle for Purdue to come back and win this, but
Tagovailoa Amosa, sack, or a half a sack, I should say. 1.5 tackles for loss. Anthrop with the catch. Of note for Notre Dame, J.D. Bertrand had 12 tackles today. That's after 11 tackles each of the first 2 games for the Irish.
Timeout for an injured player.
You just mentioned Tagovailoa Amosa. He was shaken up on that tackle. He was a little groggy when he got up, so they stopped the game to have the training staff come out and look at him. There are the numbers for J.D. Bertrand. 3 double-digit tackle games in a row to start this season.
And we had a chance to talk to him on Friday. You know, he came here, he redshirted his first year, just played special teams last year, and now having the opportunity to start and playing a really big role on this defense. He rarely comes off the field. He's been their pressure player. He's been a coverage player. Really just a good all-around football player for this Notre Dame defense.
Dover out of bounds at the 42-yard line, minute 28 remaining. What I loved about our meeting with Bertrand is we were done. Hey, thanks. Let's go. I want to go get lunch, right? He stopped you. No, he wanted to ask you a question. He asked you 2 questions about what didn't you know in college that you wish you did. That impressed me as much as his 3 games with double-digit tackles.
I would agree. It certainly surprised me a little bit, but also humbling.
3rd and 7. O'Connell shot play downfield, deflected and intercepted. DJ Brown comes up with it, and that will do it. See Brown shake it up. Brown got that, as he has played a key role in Notre Dame's dime coverage. He went down right away. And we'll look at the senior from Annapolis, Maryland. Tough final couple of minutes here. Cam Hart was contesting in coverage. And Brown with what is his first interception at Notre Dame, and Hart gets up. Cam Hart, converted wide receiver, who was flipped over to defensive back last year for the Irish, into a starting role this year, and he comes over to the sideline. So Brown gets the pick, and Notre Dame will take a couple of knees here, and bring this one to a close.
It's a hard fought.
The final word on the drum. The drum, all 10 feet of it, all 500 plus pounds, back on the road to West Lafayette. So on State Road 31 and 25, as you're heading back down, look for the drum. Send us a picture. Purdue taking its final timeout, delaying the tailgaters 30 seconds.
They're ready to get out there.
And they'll perhaps toast Coach Kelly. 105. We mentioned earlier the 21 wins vacated by the NCAA. Notre Dame recognizing the 105 and the equaling of the Rockne record for the most coaching wins in Notre Dame history. And drew a good second half for Jack Cohn. He played the entire second half. We did not see Tyler Buchner, and he comes away with a win.
Well, we talked about those big play opportunities, which obviously Jack Cohn, I think that's really one of his strengths, and certainly something that we felt like they missed out on in the first half, but would have some opportunities in the second half. They hit Avery Davis on the deep post, had Braden Lindsey on another one that unfortunately was dropped for Notre Dame, but felt like Notre Dame made some strides today, mainly in their run game. I think that's something that obviously has been a bit of a disappointment the first two games, not feeling like they had really established their identity with that run game, with the exception of Tyler Buchner in the game. But today it felt like Jack Cohn in the game. They got the power run going, really starting to find that identity.
Jack Cohn will probably enjoy this win for about 10 minutes and then go, my old school.
Who are we playing this week?
Wisconsin.
That's right.
At Soldier Field next week. Great respect with Karlaftis, who was handled quite well by Notre Dame. Clock runs down. They make the announcement of Brian Kelly's 105th win. And the fans applaud. And Brian standing by with Catherine Tappan.
Coach, we saw many teaching moments with you and your players on the sidelines today. What did you learn about the way they were able to pull out this victory?
I like the way they played in the second half. You know, they make... Look, we're young in certain areas, and just that focus, attention to detail, all these things are a process for us. Look, it's easy to say you're young, and we don't have that luxury. It's about coming back to a high standard, but we need games like this where we got to make some mistakes, learn from them, grow. And I thought they grew up in the second half. I thought the defense played great today. Look, we left some plays out there, obviously, right? I mean, from an offensive standpoint. But having said that, you know, to play a Big Ten team that's physical in a rivalry game and to win it, we made some steps forward today.
Win number 105 for you in Notre Dame history. You tie Newt Rockne. What does that milestone mean to you?
Just have had great players, great coaches, and consistency and support from our university. And you know, President Jenkins and Jack Swarbrick have been with me this whole journey, and we got more work to do.
Coach, thanks so much.
Thanks.
Reverend John Jenkins, University professor, Jack Swarbrick, the athletic director at Notre Dame. 48 months without a loss at home. The Irish have won 26 straight. They win 27-13. Purdue now 2-1. Coming up next on your NBC station. Except on the West Coast, it's your local news. Notre Dame postgame show over on Peacock. We're back here in 2 weeks. The Irish take on Cincinnati. Rob Highland, our producer. Charlie Danmeyer, our director. We thank everybody on our Notre Dame team. And with Drew Brees and Catherine Tappan, Mike Tirico. Thanks for spending part of your last Saturday of summer with us. Watching Notre Dame football on NBC, presented by NerdWallet.